All right, we got a good one tonight on Top 5. We're listing our top 5 things we miss the most about our old neighborhood. Ernie's not one of them.
Welcome to Top 5 with Joey Cassata. Starring Joey Cassata.
Team Jesus, my friend. Am I walking around, Park?
Co-starring Ernie Palooza. And the Doctor, Tommy Snyder.
Goddamn.
Now here's your host, Joey Cassata.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Top 5. I'm your host, Joey Cassata.
And I'm the mayor of the block.
Beth Block in the hit 3 blocks. And of course, the returning monster, the Doctor, Mr. Tom Snyder. What's up, Doc? I don't think I've ever said that before. What's up, Doc? How did we ever miss that?
What's up, Doc?
Right? I've never done that before.
This is now on going forward. How about that?
And returning by popular demand, we got straight from Madison Place, straight from the block. We got Big Head Billy, baby. Big Head Billy.
That's right. Thank you. On behalf of everybody, thank you for having me back. It's been a while, and glad my head still fits in the screen. It's getting a little, I need to exercise a little bit. You can't do exercises for your head to make your head shrink. Maybe go to like the Amazon, and if I went there, they'll come back with a normal size head.
You got to get like Beetlejuice to like sprinkle that stuff on your head, right?
Just a little. I don't want to go that small.
So you can stick your head in a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Deep fryer. We could stick his head in a deep fryer.
It's like my head is immense, and all I do at work is go on these Zoom team calls. I just stare at myself and go. They ask me a question. I'm just staring at my head. I don't even answer. I'm like, God damn, my head's big.
What's the Ray Young story when you went to get a helmet?
Oh, so my helmet broke. We're playing roller hockey, and I need a new helmet. And my cousin drove by the sporting goods store. Says, "You got to do me a favor. Get me a helmet on the way home." He gets to the store. He goes, "What size head are you?" He goes, "I don't know. Just get me the Messier helmet." So he walks in, and then the guy goes, "I need a helmet." And he goes, the guy goes, "What size?" He goes, "I don't know. It's for my cousin." But his head's the size of a Martian.
All I picture is that, what's his name? The Great Gazoo? What's his name?
Yeah, the Great Gazoo.
Yeah.
And that's what he called me. He goes, yeah. The guy looked at him, Martian.
Gazoo,
he goes,
yeah.
Whatever. The Gazoo, the Gazoo, the guy. And the helmet fit. Messier's head must be huge because that's the only like helmet. I bought another one, and after the game, I realized I had screw indents in my forehead. The helmet was too tight.
Oh Lord!
He's cutting the blood circulation. He's playing hockey. His eyes are going. Yeah, goddamn.
I was wondering why those shots were going so wide.
How's everyone doing? We've been away for a couple weeks. We haven't seen each other. I did a Kiss episode last week with a couple Kiss geeks that I know. I asked Ernie to come on, but he wanted no part of it. The Doctor I couldn't invite because obviously he would have badmouthed Kiss the whole time. But it was a fun episode. What did we do 2 weeks ago before that? Is that the episode we had with Uncle Steve, our contest winner?
Yes, I believe so.
That was a great time. Since then, we have our other contest up and running. We do have a couple submissions. I have to go look at the timestamps to see who won. But our contest, Bill, we had another contest to come on to be a guest star of the show. The contest was you got to wear a Top 5 shirt, and you got to answer this question. You can answer it now because the winners already answered the question. So, ready for this trivia question?
I'm terrible at anything.
When Ernie slapped down money on the bar and ordered 100 beers, what bar was that at? Now, I could have gotten the bar wrong because I probably wrote it wrong in my book. But what's the real bar, or what's the bar that I wrote in my book?
Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes, you win, Billy.
All right, whatever.
No, we had
You're
a nice handful
Oh,
of submissions.
You're runner up.
You're on. You're on the podcast. There you
Good,
go.
I won.
Won.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
All right, before this is going to be a funny topic. That's why I wanted Billy on. We all grew up in the same neighborhood. We grew up in Marine Park, Brooklyn. We're going to be listing our top 5 things we missed the most about our old neighborhood. Now, that doesn't mean that we missed them necessarily, but they just could be gone now, or we miss doing them, whatever it is. We'll go into more detail about what it is in a few minutes. But before that, we got to play the infamous, the world-renowned Doctor. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm glad you asked that, Joey. It just so happened.
Uh-oh. Ooh, whoa!
Orange.
I don't know this. How is it?
Very good. All I'm gonna say. Very, very good.
Is there any drink that you haven't met that wasn't very good?
Billy, you missed it a couple weeks ago. He's drinking something. It looked white. We did the infamous game. Doctor, what are you drinking tonight? So he's like, oh, I'm drinking Tito's and some kind of like pineapple mix. And I'm like, let me see the pineapple mix. So he holds it up to the screen. It's a protein milk. It's not pineapple milk. Vanilla protein milk with Tito's vodka.
You were close.
I would like to see some Vita Vita Vegemin commercials for Jameson Orange as we go along, Doctor.
Let's not get that far.
You want to get rid of your mother-in-law? Well, so do I. That's why I went straight to the orange.
Is there any flavors that have they haven't touched yet? You're gonna see Jameson's watermelon. Let's go.
This was a surprise.
Yeah, I've never had
surprise.
flavored whiskey with like the vodka flavors. I've never had orange whiskey. Do you really taste the orange?
Jameson's lately have been going out on a limb. They remember that cold brew, the coffee flavored.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They did that. Yeah, they did that. They came out with this. So
do you really taste the orange in it? Is it significant?
Yeah, but it's not sweet. It's just the orange. That's the good thing about it. It's not like
right.
The honey. When we used to drink the honey, it was like so much fucking sugar. You know what I mean?
Well, it also brings the proof down a little bit because it's got to be sweet. Is that still 80 proof, or is it?
Yeah.
Is it down? I bet you it's 70.
It's 60.
Oh, 60 proof? It's only 30% alcohol?
Right. Only 30.
Oh. That only 30% alcohol. That means 30% more for me.
Tom, you live up in the hills. You haven't tried to make your own moonshine yet? You haven't gotten a still and go out in those acres that you own?
Billy, people in Prospect Park live in the hills. I live in the mountains.
All right.
You guys ever see Ozark?
Yes.
Yes.
I pictured Snyder. That's how I picture Snyder living. That's where I picture him. I picture him out like in the Ozarks, just living, pulling over to some guy's trailer, drinking on the side of the road with them, moonshine, falling asleep on the couch outside, and then wandering home.
Hey, when you say the couch outside, it's literally outside on the lawn.
Literally outside on the lawn, yes.
I gotta tell you the place to go. We went down to visit Leanne's cousin. He's got a place in Florida, and everybody's got a golf cart, right? And they just all show up at people's houses with coolers, right? They drive around their golf carts and they pull up. So he goes, a couple of my friends are coming over. Next thing you know, it's like a full-on party, coolers everywhere. And everybody's in there, like 60. It's just so funny. Nothing changes. I swear to God, nothing changes.
I say 100%. That should be our goal. Once we're in our 60s, we move to Florida. We get golf carts. We live near each other, and we just meet up and have coolers, and we just drive back and forth. I can see Snyder in the gorilla suit wrestling an alligator in the middle of Florida.
There's a lot of alligators.
Hold on, you know what? I don't think we've ever told the gorilla stories, have we?
I don't know what you're talking about, Joe.
I don't even know if I know. I don't even know if
I
I
do not
know the
recall, Senator.
Ernie, what's the origin of the gorilla? I don't even think I know.
It had to do with Tommy getting drunk.
Well, I mean, that's the origin of every story, right?
Somebody got Tommy got a hold of a monkey costume.
No,
No, but
I
even
mean,
before the costume, right?
yeah, that was like the pinnacle. It was Christian Palmieri's birthday, and he wanted Tommy dressed up like a gorilla for his birthday. That was one of the things.
Well, doesn't every
he
boy?
always,
Let me
he
cross,
always
let me
talked
cross this
about
off my list.
he always talked
Dressing
about
up
it.
in gorilla suits and bars. They don't let you do that anymore.
They don't make the gorilla suits the way they used to. Do you remember?
No.
Like I think we were at Ray Young's house.
Ronald had rented it, and he got this giant head, like a King Kong, but the helmet was huge. And I had to wear a hockey helmet. Funny, we're talking about this underneath the helmet so it wouldn't spin.
Oh my God!
It was a real cheap looking helmet. So, Bill, go ahead.
Again,
you were watching.
but that's after the fact. You've been doing the gorilla for years. How did you start doing the monkey, the gorilla, or whatever the hell you want to call it?
I'll have to sleep on that one. I
don't think anybody knows.
But at least tell the story. So, Billy or Ernie, what would happen? So we'd have a couple of drinks, we'd be out, and what would happen? We'd see in the middle of Flatbush Avenue or something a gorilla.
Tommy does an absolute great girl, right? So just going back to this event, he comes out, right? It was just so funny. It felt like we were going on tour. Tommy's in the car, like he's in the back seat. He's got the gorilla head in his hand.
Giant helmet.
A giant helmet. We pull up in front of Vic's Moonbeam. He throws the helmet on. He runs in. Everybody's going crazy. And I think
I ran through Flatbush and the traffic and everything stopped.
That was when you came back out after your triumphant return. He goes running down Flatbush Avenue, and he's doing it. Cars are freaking out
but when you say doing it, Billy, he won't do it yet. Show me what he does.
He has he literally. He could go to the Bronx Zoo, and if you put him in a gorilla outfit, threw him in the cage, you'd have a hard time telling. Like he picks bugs out of your hair. No, he'd go over to your hair, and he'd start going through your hair and pick a bug out like that.
People, I think over the years it turned into a gorilla, but I think it resembles more of an orangutan.
Oh, and Tommy, we went away on the camping trip, and you were in the gorilla outfit. I had pictures of that.
Right? Yeah, I ran in the bar to surprise Christian. It was Moonbeams. And I ran in there, 100 miles an hour, jumped up on the bar, fucking looked great, stood up on the bar, the helmet spun, and I went off the other side of the bar. I couldn't see shit.
Oh, God.
The helmet spun, right over. And then I hopped back up on the bar and everyone went crazy. So
him running down Flatbush Avenue, I swear, it looked like something out of Kong. If he could have just hit a car and knocked it to the side, it would have been
I was going to climb King's. I was going to climb King's Plaza for effect, but.
Oh, hold on a second. That we've been looking for the shirt for you. That's the shirt. You as a gorilla on King's Plaza like King Kong. Oh my God, that's the fucking shirt right there.
Nice.
All right, I'll start the designs tomorrow. But that's if I have one regret in my musical career. It's Playground never officially got on a tour bus and fucking did like a 2-month tour. Can you imagine the fun we would have had? Ernie?
It would have been over. I think it would have been over.
It would have lasted.
Our lives or the band? What do you mean? What are you talking?
Brandon would have quit.
It would have lasted 2 days.
We would have left DeVito at a truck stop somewhere.
Oh, forget it.
You would have tied him to the diving board in some poor hotel like you did in Pennsylvania.
He'd be on the luggage rack on top.
I'll never forget that. That's like one memory. I forget everything now, but that one I'll remember. Go running down Flatbush Avenue. Oh, and it was always like everybody was like, "Holy shit, he's running down Flatbush Avenue!" Like it's nighttime. He's wearing a black gorilla outfit, and like like you think cars see you, but they can't see you.
But again, it never ends. I remember, we used to go out for a holiday dinner every year. Me, Snyder, Babbles, Steve sometimes, And one time we went after Christmas, and it might have even been like after New Year. So all the dead Christmas trees were in everyone's garbage in the city. So they were all laying all over the street. After we get out of dinner and drinks, of course, he's literally chasing us down Canal Street, launching Christmas trees at us in the middle of Canal Street in the city. Am I wrong?
No comment.
Well, I can tell you when he did.
Don't recall. I don't recall.
I forget
Your
why
Honor,
we went
I
out.
don't recall.
I forget why we went out, but Tom, you were in the city, and I think you were going back to work in Brooklyn, and Babbles was driving us back, and we were on 3rd Avenue. There was a lot of traffic. And all of a sudden, he just kicks the door open, and he starts going down the block. And Babbles like, what's he doing? What's he doing, right? And he walks up to like a cab, this guy and this girl in the cab, and he just at the window like this, staring at them like this, going, ooh, 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 ooh. And they're hysterical laughing. He gets back in the car. And Babbles is mad that like you didn't cause a diversion so we could make a left-hand turn, right? So like he figured that if you ran out far enough, you could have stopped traffic. We could have turned, and then you look at him and goes, "Well, if you need me to cause a diversion, you should have said something."
Can we do that this summer? Can we dress as gorillas and go and invade Babel's house?
Joey, we did that already. We were thrown out.
You should just parachute into his pool.
He's got to have like some kind
costumes.
See, Babels has some kind of security system, I bet.
The Blasio.
What are you gonna say, Ern?
Once we were in a cab in the Hamptons, and Madonna's Borderline came on the radio. Tommy jumps out of goes in the middle, blocking all traffic, laying on the floor, doing the Borderline video.
Well, I remember the time Musk told me the story. After the Bordy-Bon, Snyder takes Musk to 7-Eleven. I'm sure if it's something to eat or something. And what did you say? You just started launching bananas at people, and you were paying them $20 if they can catch a banana or something, right? What was it?
Yeah. I didn't want to get arrested.
Well, that's where the money came in. You were launching bananas at people, but as long as you were paying them if they caught it, then you don't get arrested.
Right. Yeah.
We pay for the bananas.
All right. Let's dive into this episode. So we're gonna go throughout. We're gonna list our top 5 things we miss the most about the old neighborhood. And again, this is not just our neighborhood. This is across the board. I think, now that we're adults, I don't think they're just different in our eyes. I do think the world is different now. I think, kids are different today than we were as kids. And I'm sure we were different than our parents and so on and so forth. So we're going to talk about all the things in our neighborhood, whether it's a store that's gone or a price changing or just things we miss from our old neighborhood. We'll start with you, Big Head. What do you got?
Tom, you go, I guess.
No. Oh, whoa. Yeah, either one of them. That's true.
Well, my fun memories obviously had to do with what we were just talking about, but what's really gone from this neighborhood is all the bars that used to be on Flatbush Avenue. I mean, you could go from Avenue R all the way down to Flatlands Avenue, and you could make a night of it, and each bar had its own little thing. Like we would go to the Night Owl when we just wanted to sit down and have a picture, you could talk to each other. Live music, you go to Nell Flaherty's. We used to start out at JP's or whatever it was, Nightlife it was. I mean, it changed its name so many times to watch a game.
And then it went to End Zone.
Yeah, we used to go down there, and even like closer to our house was what was that, Kevin's Home Plate or whatever that was?
Kevin's Place?
Yeah, the place on East 36th Street. Ern?
Place is correct.
Kevin's Place. And that bar, it was the weirdest bar because we would go all different times. And it seemed like we always only spent $20, right? We could go eat dinner, sit down, have wings, stuff our face, drink all night. Bill comes, $20 each.
Every time.
Right? Sit there, have one beer, $20 each. It just always seemed to work out that way. But like I said, literally, depending on your mood, you could find the bar you wanted to go to. One bar sucked, you go to another, and it had to be like 9-10 bars in that on those blocks.
Oh, sure.
Easy. Yeah.
And now it's like,
and Ashford Arms too. You had right. And what was the place?
Was Ashford the one that was always dead right before Cuckoo's Nest? Like
It was an older Irish
That's
place you could get
Christie's.
in.
what, Ernie? Christie's.
Christie's is the other one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the older crowd.
Greenfields, right?
Right. Greenfield is across the street.
Across the street.
And like you could just I missed that. I mean, now is really only a couple. I mean, there's a few new ones that opened up on Flatbush Avenue. I haven't been up there, but we'll go to 3rd and 7, which is on 37th Street. Or Nora's. Nora's is still going strong, actually.
Oh, wow.
That's a crazy bar too sometimes.
Let's do a Nora's night. We got to do a Nora's night.
Guys, can we stop for 2 seconds?
What happened? The orange?
I got the babbler contacting me. I got to let him know I'm going to be here for a while. I'm doing some work on paper.
Meltdown? Is it Meltdown?
Put him live on the air, Doctor. Put the Babs live on the air.
Nuclear power plant? The nuclear power plant? He's got to go to the Ukraine and fix the power plant?
I got to lie.
And again, in the Babbles copter, fly over to Ukraine.
Let's hear the lie live on air. Come on, go, Doctor.
No, I'm texting.
Oh. Read us the text. Read us the text. Come on.
No, I'm working on cartoon.
Speaking of which, Doc, we need more panels, and there's other stuff I got to talk to you about that too.
All right.
He's gonna, if he watches this episode, he's gonna know you weren't working.
Mr. Big Head, your head's gonna get a little bigger now. Only one thing has been mentioned so far, my number one is gone.
What? No, come on. I love it. No, but Billy, you're so right. It's the bars on Flatbush. It was great because you had options all the time. You could go to your regular place. If Cuckoo's Nest was our regular place, you could go there, and all of a sudden, like that night, just wasn't happening. You could go down the block. You could go to Turtle Shell. You can go to JP's. You can go so many options just walking around. And like you said too, Night Owl always had the table. Snight always loved to sit at the table to start the night.
And you're walking distance. You know what I mean? Like you didn't need a car. You didn't have to worry about that stuff. Although some people took their cars anyway, but
end of the night, you had Lenny's down the block.
Yep.
Grab a couple slices, grab a rice ball, ready to go.
I'm in.
I don't care what anybody says. Lenny's has got the greatest pizza for.
Joey gave me the approval.
He's okay. Babs, all right? He's okay.
He's all right.
Well, I thought you said you were all right, Spider.
I was waiting for that one. I thought you said you were all right, Snyder.
Come on, Doc. What do you got? Number 5.
Did anyone recently just pick up that there's a language program on the radio that's called Babbles?
No,
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, it teaches you different languages.
I haven't heard a murmur from you guys, and I'm like, what's going on?
Does he have it copywritten? Did he trademark it?
Well, I don't need to buy the program. I live it. 15 minutes with him.
He speaks 6 languages.
I can speak 18 languages now.
Well, the time you thought you could speak Japanese is still my favorite story of all time. You know that one.
I don't know what that one is, but anyway,
That's great.
I went back a little nostalgia, back to culture-wise, the neighborhood. So, but I have a funny story about this. Basically, it's escaped mental patients providing entertainment in the neighborhood. We had this guy Stewie. Check this out. This guy Stewie used to big fat round guy with bozo the hair, like bald in the middle but long on the sides, looked like Krusty the Clown. And he used to walk around Marine Park, and we'd follow him, the kids, and we pay him 20. We don't like check our pockets and give him 25 cents, and then he to sing or to do some kind of entertainment, like 10 kids, and and we knew he was mentally not there, you know, but he would break into oh, when the Saints come marching in, oh, when the Saints, and he'd start clapping his hands. Then he would do the circus, ladies and gentlemen of all ages. But I'm thinking today, there's no fucking way that's happening.
Remember,
Parents keep an eye on their kids. And there's no way there's like 10 or 15 kids following around a
mental
complete
patient.
mental lunatic, giving them change so they can entertain them.
And you know
It's just
what?
not happening.
He was pretty good. You're right, Tom. He was pretty good. There was another guy. We just called him the Shaker because he would walk down the block. He would
Oh,
look
I
at a
forgot.
fire hydrant.
Right.
He would look at a fire hydrant and he'd just go. And he would
What?
walk away. Yes.
Shaky.
Only he would look at fire hydrants and go. And he would walk away.
He worked for the fire department. He was an inspector.
Ernie, what'd you say? You know this? You know these guys?
Shaky.
Of course he does.
Shaky was
Unbelievable.
guy who was shaky. It is called.
It wasn't Schaefer?
No, I
Shaker.
think we just called him.
Shaky.
Schaefer, wasn't it? Because he drank Schaefer beer?
No,
I always call him
I
Shaky.
remember as Shaker because he just used to shake his head when he looked at the fire hydrant.
So your number 5 pick is local mental patients. That's
Escaped mental patients.
Escaped mental patients.
Providing entertainment in the neighborhood.
You're so right, Tom. Look, that guy was entertaining. He really was.
Yes, he was great. And check this out. There was Esther was a bigger, older woman. And we used to think that was his mother. But she wasn't entertaining. She was just
Oh
she was
my
just fucking
God.
crazy.
Now we
Could
have
could you picture the way kids grow up now, the way they're schooled on not to
Oh.
talk to strangers, not to go down the block, around the corner, not to go anywhere where you don't let someone know where you are. And then you drive today. If I drove by Marine Park and saw 10 kids following a fucking mental patient,
there's only
I'd be like, what the fuck? Really? That's so awesome.
there's only one left. Unfortunately, Mikey D, and I use him as an example to my kids. And I tell him he only did drugs once, just once.
and
So
that was
don't
enough.
do it.
And that was enough.
And that was enough. Don't do it, boys.
Is he
Don't do
am
it.
I wrong? Is he running for mayor? Am I wrong?
He's running for
City council?
president of Marine Park. I don't know. I know there was one, but there's a sign in the storefront that says he's where he.
Wait. Which storefront?
There's a storefront, Avenue R and Nostrand Avenue. They have a sign in the window that says Mikey the name for president.
Amazing.
He's got it down this time. Yeah. For president of Marine Park, though. I don't know. I didn't know there was a thing.
I would vote for him.
Yeah. Well, people already said that when they posted the sign on Facebook. A lot of people got Mikey's votes. But you know what? Even as Mike, I saw Mikey today, sparkling brand new Yankee hat on. I'm like a fitted Yankee hat walking
You
around.
saw
I'm
him
like,
today?
today. Yeah. I see him all the time.
He
Is he
literally
still in
just
the-
walks around the neighborhood by himself, right?
Yeah. He had a funny story.
Still living in the garden,
Yeah,
the
he's still there.
apartments.
So a friend
His
of mine.
parents are still alive.
No, his dad passed. His mom's still alive.
And did he
But-
have a brother or sister, someone?
Yeah, he has a brother and a sister. But
That was
brother
normal.
moved upstate. He was in the Navy, I think, or something like that. And I'm not sure where his.
But when he's walking around the neighborhood, is he going somewhere or does he just like
We
stroll
don't
around?
know.
He just roams
Joey,
around.
We don't know.
He
He's
roams.
been going
No,
somewhere
if you
for
can
years.
follow him, he goes to the store. I got a great story, but so a friend of mine, he makes wooden American flags and different flags. He does a really nice job, and he's using my mom's garage. So Mikey comes by every day. And so when I had COVID, I was sitting there and I'm laughing because I'm hearing the conversations. But he offers him a job. He said, Mikey, if you get yourself straightened out, I'll give you a job. You can help me make the flags. He goes, let me think about it. He leaves and he comes back. The next day he comes back and he says, I'll do it. $25 an hour. Right? He goes, I'll do it. Right. So he said, and it's my friend said to him, goes, but Mikey, you got to get straight first. Let me think about it. And he walks away.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, he remembers everything because he always comes up and one of the funnier things he told me was he goes, I got it figured out, Bill. I know what I'm gonna do. And I go, well, what is it, Mike? He goes, I'm gonna drive NASCAR. Right?
No.
And I go,
Shut
what?
up.
He goes, I called them up. They said I just need a car.
Wait, what do you mean he called him up? There's like a NASCAR.
I don't know. I don't know.
1-800
I guess it's-
NASCAR?
Yeah, I guess he
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah, they offered him to be a speed bump for $25 an hour.
Billy, please.
Let me think about it.
When we hang up, you got to send me pictures Send me a picture of Mikey D, please. Take a picture of him for president in the window, please, for this
I
episode.
have this. I have the picture of the sign. I sent
Send
it
me
out.
that. Send it to me again.
Yeah.
Send me a picture of Snyder in the gorilla suit if you have it.
Yeah, I gotta
Anything you
find that
have.
one.
This is
It
gold.
seems like Mikey D is the skinny crackhead Ralph Cramden of our neighborhood with all these get rich schemes.
He's got
Billy, I'm going to be rich.
he's got more steps than anybody in the world. I'm telling you, he just walks everywhere.
Well, Ernie, I can't
God bless him,
imagine.
still going.
I can't imagine you can top the doctor's last pick of number 5 at escaped mental patients in the neighborhood.
That should have
So-
been number one.
What do you got at number 5?
It's not anything great, Tommy. It's
That's what I missed from the neighborhood.
Playing with no, it should. The title should have been "Playing with Escaped Mental Patients."
Oh my gosh.
I can't follow that.
Come on.
I put discovering unknown albums after spending hours and hours in Zigzag.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a great one.
That was one of my favorite places in the whole world, and just going through, clocking through all these CDs and records when I was younger, and just finding something special was everything.
I probably told this story before, but I'll never forget. And Tuesday's albums dropped, and we would walk. Well, I think it was like on East 13th. Wasn't that? No, not that far.
yeah. Zigzag was
23rd.
23rd.
East 23rd. East 23rd.
Yeah.
We go in and we're looking through all the albums, and I pick up Bon Jovi's "Slippery When Wet," and Ernie looks at me and he goes, "What are you buying that crap for? That band ain't going anywhere." So I still laugh at that when I think about
So
it.
Ernie, when you say discovering
hey,
albums,
easy there.
do you
Easy there. Ernie was the manager for Playground too. He believed in us.
Ernie
He must have printed the shirts.
in Zigzag? Were you able to listen to the records or no?
No.
So how would you
But just,
discover? You would
just-
just take a chance on stuff?
Yeah, well, I had enough knowledge to know what albums supposedly are great,
Well,
but
obviously not, from what Billy just said.
no, that was a brand new album, and Billy's got the story slightly wrong. We went home and we listened to the whole album, and after I listened to it, I was like, "Who is this album for? It's too heavy for the girls, and it's not heavy enough for the guys. Nobody's gonna buy it."
That makes the story worse for you, Ernie.
Yeah, right.
And what happened was everyone liked it.
I was slightly off.
And
Boys and girls liked it.
it was I think it might have been Seton Hall had like a rock radio station that
WSOU, of course.
Yeah, right. So you heard a lot of stuff on there, like with new bands, and sometimes you'd hear something and you go there. They had a lot of records in that place. I mean, it was really well stocked, but you don't really have that anymore. I mean, now it's like if you have Apple Music and you're just scrolling through looking for different songs and
Right.
you hit something. But it wasn't as fun as being able to have, it in your hands, and read the back.
Can I throw a name out to you? Because since we're on this topic, real quick.
Let me hear
Wasn't
it.
there a store in Kings Plaza, Plum Tree or something like that?
Of course, yeah.
Rock
Where you got
shirts.
the rock and roll shirts?
I used to
I
get
bought
all
my
my,
Ozzy for
my
president
I used to get my Kiss patches there at the Plum Tree. Of course, they had
Right.
their little display cases. You could they would rotate. You could actually
Right. It was really cool. Really
Yeah.
cool place, man. Really cool
Plum
place.
Tree. Yeah, it was
Right.
great. It was like Spencer's Gifts before it was Spencer's Gifts. Yeah.
Right. That's cool.
All right, my number
I'll tell you
5.
what-
Go ahead, Ern.
Oh, Tommy mentioned one thing. I used to work in Macy's, and on my lunch break, I go across to the Wiz, and I spent
Oh, the Wiz.
my lunch break there all the time looking through albums, and people would come to me, and I'll be dressed up in my work suit, and people would say, "Where is blah blah blah?" Or do you have like I work there? And I got tired of telling people I don't work there, and eventually I started helping people.
You should have got a job there as well.
I
You
was
should've-
gonna say, Ernie, and what did you do in Macy's? Pantyhose.
Pantyhose for 5 years. Yeah.
So wait, so on your break from Macy's, you went across the street and took a whiz?
No, to the
Is that what you said?
nobody is.
Oh.
Or I used to work in the Pine Factory, and nobody bought anything from the Pine Factory, the furniture store, and it had a dining room table. And we used to know the people at Bunenberger, and like Michael Leone would come by. I think you would come by, Tommy, Ernie, Carmine, and they would sit at the dining room table and eat their dinner.
Unbelievable.
And one
Ernie-
time, like a family walks in, and then like, yeah, oh, they're here to demonstrate. They just wanted to try out the table, see how it was.
It's so true.
I
I
just
don't remember
seeing
anyone
something-
ever being in Pine Tree.
I think Billy stayed in Pine Tree when they closed and slept there. It was an apartment.
I remember something, Billy. Somebody wanted to look in your store, and you said, "Sure, help yourself." The person came out and goes, "Somebody's sleeping back there."
Yeah, I think
sleeping in the bed in the back.
yeah, one time Ernie was in the bunk beds taking a nap.
Oh my
Oh.
God. All right. So I'm going to start number 5 off with. So again, when I grew up, Halloween only meant 2 things to me. Never trick or treated for Halloween. And as long as I could remember, Halloween meant 2 things: eggs and shaving cream.
Yeah.
Never see it anymore. I mean, when we were kids, the neighborhood was like a war zone. It was like, okay, battle time. I remember me and my friends, I had a shed in my backyard. We would start stockpiling eggs and shaving cream in August. We'd start buying because we didn't have any money. So if we had an extra dollar, eggs were 99 cents, I think. If we had an extra dollar, we'd buy eggs and we'd store them in my shed. Most of the kids weren't allowed to have eggs and shaving cream. My mom didn't care. She let everyone do whatever they wanted. So they would all store the stuff in my shed. So my shed literally became like a fort. And and then we'd start, stealing the hairspray caps off of all the hairspray things for the shaving cream bottles. And we would have everything lined. We would be planning for months for Halloween. Now, when you drive around on Halloween, nobody is doing anything. Maybe you see a spray of shaving cream or toilet paper in the tree, which is ridiculous. Never an egg. We would stand on Flatbush Avenue and peg the buses with eggs.
No, they call that stuff in Jersey and outside of New York Mischief Night.
Oh, really? But is it on Halloween?
Yeah, they run around with the wet toilet paper so you can't get off the cars and stuff.
Yeah, but even wet toilet paper. I mean, when we were kids, the biggest fear to me, especially because I had long hair, the rumor always went around. Nair in you. Oh, watch out if they put Nair in your hair. They put it in the eggs and they hit you with an egg and it's Nair and you lose all your hair. I never saw it actually happen, but I remember every year being terrified of it.
That was folklore.
I got a great story with that. So we were on by the park on Fillmore Avenue, especially at night. It was like a war zone. You're an idiot if you drove down there because everybody would be hidden in the park firing eggs at your car. So this was earlier in the day, and I was out with my cousins, and we were on Fillmore Avenue, and my cousin Ronald throws an egg at a bus, 1,000 to 1 shot. It goes through an open window this big, right into the bus. We're hysterical laughing. We run away. And about an hour later, we go back to his house. My uncle's sitting there. He goes, "What were you guys doing?" "What do you mean?" He goes, "What were you doing?" "Oh, we just have a little fun." My cousin goes like that. He goes, you didn't happen to be throwing eggs at a bus, did you?" And he goes, "Maybe. Why?" "Well, you threw an egg. It went through the window and it hit your brother."
No, shut up.
His brother Robbie was coming home from work. He was furious. He searched the house. No, he's searching the house looking for them. He's in the shower. And my uncle's just sitting there. He goes, "He's in the shower now. I suggest you leave."
Unbelievable.
Wasn't that the Garrison Avenue bus that took you into Manhattan?
It was the B100 bus or the command. It used to be called the command bus.
Command bus, yeah.
I remember Eddie Romeo's cousin calling it because it used to go into Manhattan. He goes, we used to call them the commandos because they were crazy. They were cutting everybody off. They were like, it was a crazy bus. There's like fumes coming into the bus. People are like in the back like this. So they were the worst buses you could possibly have.
They had like the green headers instead of the blue headers. Yeah, of course, the command bus.
Right.
Yeah.
It was on my original list. But I figured you would have grabbed this because I know you have fond memories of that. But I do remember going into Waldbaum's and buying cases. Me and my friends are standing there in line with cases of eggs. And I was just thinking at that time, if you needed eggs, because we were too young to understand, in the neighborhood, did you send your husband back out like 2 days before to buy eggs before Halloween, knowing what was coming? Seriously, think about it.
Yeah, right.
Because it was no joke. Like you couldn't drive your car around on Halloween. You wouldn't.
No way.
And we were kids, and we would do the shaving cream and then throw someone in the leaves. We call them get in the pit.
Yeah.
Or a Mazda place in the pit, and we roll them up like a chicken cutlet with leaves. It was great.
And then even later in the night, we'd be egging and shaving cream all day. I would just put shaving cream all over my face like I was a ghost, and because we'd be hungry by the end of the night. Knock on a door, trick or treat. We'd be disgusting. Eggs would be dripping off our face. They'd have to give us candy because otherwise they knew they were getting egged. I had a woman on my block. Every single Halloween paid me and a group of my friends $20 each to purposely not egg her house every time. Mrs. Grosso, her name was.
You guys are terrorists.
And we didn't even ask her. She was just like, listen, guys, wait, I know you're going to do my house again, because she was like the mean old lady in the neighborhood. She would literally throw us money down from her balcony, and we would leave her alone. We'd guard her house for the rest of the night. It was worth it.
I have it here. In 1988, it went into a law because an egg actually killed someone, that it was considered a lethal weapon. And
what? Really?
Yeah, and they actually
you know what? That's probably right about the time I stopped too. 88. Right, I think it was in 88.
Yeah, and they had to say, it's not eggs that kill people. It's people that kill people.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So it was big.
Yeah.
It's chickens that kill people.
Baby chickens.
Right. It's the
baby
chickens.
fetuses. Baby fetuses kill people.
Come on, back around to you, big head.
I think like 1.5 people died that year.
Wait. How did I come up with that year? I nailed it. Joey's like this. Oh my God. That's when it all stopped.
I really do think that's about the time I stopped.
No, someone did get hurt. Someone did get hurt, and they started clamping down on it. I remember something like that.
Oh, a lot of people got hurt because that was at the time. If someone got that car egged and they were crazy enough and they caught the slowest guy, he got a beating. He didn't want to be the last guy.
Speaking of getting hurt, I remember one year my brother kept an egg. I think I told the story one time before. He kept an egg in his desk that he had left over for one year. He kept it in his desk. A year. Can you imagine the smell? He had one of those roll top desks, and he kept it in his desk. He always told me, I'm going to hit you with this next year. I'm going to hit you with this next year. The following year, he hit me with it. It was like a giant rock, and it was black inside. And the smell that came off of this thing, when he hit me with it, it kind of cracked, but it was like it was like hard at this point. It barely cracked, but even when the smallest crack, it cracked, and then the aroma that came out of it, I stunk the whole day. Black.
I'm calling bullshit because there's no such thing as a black chicken.
Oh, how do you know? Maybe he's half black on his mother's side.
And they used to say some people would put the eggs in the freezer and freeze them. So hitting you with a baseball. They threw it at you.
Well, I do that now. So now with my kids and stuff, the craze of Halloween is we do egg fights. So, our Easter eggs, we bring them to our cousins' houses and stuff, and you hit each other's eggs, and whoever cracks wins. Right, the crack one is out. So the end of the night, whoever's egg is standing wins the whole tournament. One year, everyone's like, oh, they put like polish on their egg. They try to harden their egg. One year, I stuck my egg in the freezer. I destroyed everybody. Everyone's egg is destroyed. They're like, let me see that egg. My egg was steaming. It was so cold.
What the hell is this, an Italian thing?
I don't know.
This is the guy who brings his own Monopoly money. All right, so let's be honest.
Whoa, what?
Brings his own dice to Monopoly.
He owns his own dice. He's got his own Monopoly money.
Never me.
Monopoly game.
Never convicted on no
taped to another
money.
shirt like a drug deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It shows up in Monopoly.
I used to come with it in my shirt. I used to go to guys, I gotta go to the bathroom quick. Let me take a little 500 out.
He got frisked at the airport. They lifted up his shirt. Like, what the fuck is this?
It's Monopoly. You never know when a Monopoly game is going to break out.
Monopoly money into the country.
They reached up his ass and they pulled out a boot, a car.
What's Boardwalk doing up your ass?
Not inside the pouch of your mouth, maybe.
Oh, no. Oh my God.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't.
Forget about
We've
that.
never told that story, have we?
Yes, we've talked about your pouch.
So, yes, I
You
can
got like
hide
a kangaroo
stuff.
jaw.
I can hide stuff in. I have like these pouches under my chin here.
They're called jowls.
They're called jowls, and I can actually hide or smuggle, whatever you want to, however you want to call it. I can hide almost like I could hide a half a hot dog in each of them.
Didn't that come in handy that time you got lost in the forest? They couldn't find you for 3 weeks. They were shocked you were still alive. I heard you ate the pouch.
When I was a kid, all I used to eat was hot dogs. So when I used to eat a hot dog, but I wasn't hungry anymore, I would take the last bite and put it in my pouch, and I'd eat it like 2 hours later.
It's like your
What
brother
do you
put
like
the
an
egg in
alligator?
the
That's what
desk.
alligators do. They drown their victims. They stuck them under a stump underwater, and they come back an hour later and eat them after they're tenderized.
Exactly.
A few days later. Oh, God.
Come on, Bill. Back to you.
Can I get a hot dog? So this is like the neighborhood and going to the park, and my kids were younger. And they haven't really done anything over in the park, but I just remember the playground the way it was in the park. There was a little, when you were on the monkey bars, you were a little afraid. It was kind of high. You know what I mean? Like for a little kid to climb all the way on the top of the monkey bars, you had those metal swings where if you got hit in the face, it hurt. Now they got these, kids are a little baby today. Now they got these like rubber swings. You get hit, kids, nothing. You got hit with a swing back when we were kids.
Those metal swings were
You
deadly.
felt it, made you pay attention to what you.
What about the metal slides? We got third-degree burns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then sometimes at the bottom, it was like a little sharp at the bottom.
Yeah. When you came home from the park, there's a good chance you had a few scars on you.
Oh,
Nowadays, they got the rubber mats. The kids fall on the floor to get up. They're laughing. So it's just not as fun as when we were younger. It's just more to it. I mean, Ernie could tell you like the craziness with the swings and swinging off the swings and grabbing onto a fence. You can't even do that nowadays. They used to have like the big swings for the, nothing keeping you in. And I never did it, but like the Dragos would do it all the time. And you would go as high as you could, and then you would let go and grab onto the fence. Right? I forget there was one, what did they call the one? Was it a Zuccarella or something? There was one where somebody like literally, I think it was one of the Dragos, didn't climb on the fence. He got so high, he ended up he's straddling the top of the fence.
It was straddling the top.
It was crazy. I mean, and the fences back then were pretty high. They had to be like 20 feet.
In which playground? Where?
In Marine Park.
No, it was the gate that they're talking about separated the schoolyard from 278 to the playground.
Oh,
and it was enough distance.
So it was a school fence. So it had to be 14 feet high, 12 feet high, something like that.
And the funny thing about it is you sit there and you look at it now and you laugh about it, but like who's on the swing and says, you know what would be a good idea? I'm gonna let go and grab a fence. You know what I mean?
But the best thing is once someone does it, then everyone wants to try.
Oh yeah, it was like on a Friday or Saturday night, like before you get into having a few beers or whatever. It's like before that settles in, let's have feats of strength. Real men grab fences. You know what I mean? It's do things like that. And they used to have a giant sprinkler. That was there, and of course they broke into that, and they would put someone's bike near the sprinkler, and the kid, whoever it was, wasn't paying attention. When they went to go get their bike, they would turn it on and soak the hell out of them. And me and you, Tom, I mean, you can't even do this now, but one time it snowed and it rained like right after it, and it froze. And
we ice skated.
We ice skated. They had the softball courts. They had just a flat, giant open surface. The two of us threw our skates on, like, because you couldn't believe it. We were driving down the block, and I was like, "Are people ice skating?" Like, you ran home and you got your skates, and like the park's not really set up that way nowadays. Now those are all basketball courts. They have drains. back in the day, nothing works. So it allowed everything to
Yeah,
flow.
these are hard concrete softball courts, and they
Yeah.
just froze over. It was a major storm. It had to be, I don't even know the date, but it hit the whole Northeast. It was really bad with the ice. But yeah, that was an amazing time.
Yeah, it was great.
But let me ask you, so when you say everything's different now, do you think it's our fault? Meaning, here's what I mean. We did this as kids. Then as we got older, we realized, holy crap, how are we still alive? Because even me, I won't let my kids go to the playground by themselves, right? I mean, they're still young, but I don't let them go by themselves. I'm watching them like a hawk. They climb a tree, I'm standing under them like this, just in case.
No, I agree. I mean, my son is 13. He's bigger than me. And when he goes to school, none of his friends are going the same way at that time. I won't let him walk to school by himself because it's just
Right.
not with somebody. If he was with a couple of other kids,
No, but
I'd
think
be
of,
fine with it.
I
But
walked
yeah.
to school by myself, second grade.
Yeah.
By myself, crossing the streets, second grade. I was walking by myself.
We all used to pile in Ernie's mother's car, like 9 of us, in a 2-door car. It looked like a clown car.
4 in the front.
Or in the front and go to school. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I don't know what happened. It's like,
But did
you know,
we go so crazy and then realize, wow, we were so crazy, we got to be extra protective of our kids? Did we cause it?
Well,
What do you think?
look at the baby boomers during the Vietnam era, all the hippies that did all the drugs and everything. Now they're in control of everything in this country. The big companies, they become CEOs. They turned into everything that they were against back then.
Right.
It's hysterical. I don't know how this stuff happens, but I guess when you experience craziness, like I advise my daughter, I really don't think a gorilla suit is good to be running at an avenue. That's just I wouldn't wear that to a prom.
And you only know that
I-
from experience. You could never give her advice on a gorilla suit in the middle of an avenue unless you did it.
put some
Right,
put
exactly.
some reflector tape on if you're gonna do it. Like is like some good things, good tips.
I just thought of a.
It's yeah. It's a
we
thin
talk
line
about-
telling your kids what to do and not to do without telling them, well, Dad, how do you know?
Well,
Because I've seen everything.
I
mean,
tell them because Uncle Tommy did it. That's why.
I mean, I'll be honest, like I have a couple of times you're hanging out with them, and it's a different relationship with like my nieces and nephews. Like my uncles were like, we wouldn't have the conversations that I'm having with them, or like the relation, like go, my nieces are older and drinking with them. Like it wasn't like that with my uncles. Like
Right.
you didn't really do that, but every once in a while you have a few drinks and you start telling them these stories, and they're funny. And now I'm like realizing my son looks at me, oh, so don't give me a hard time, Dad. Don't give me a hard time when I come over after I did something.
What were you gonna
Look what
say,
you
Ern?
did.
Oh, I actually, when I was little, I made up, when I was little, high school, I made up a swing thing. I told you a story with, Greg used to call it Crazy Ernie. I used to, I'll be standing on the swing, and while swinging, I would pick my feet up. So I'm still holding onto the chains. So the seat is going crazy. And then you got to catch it again with your feet. One time I missed. I missed. And so I'm falling down, straight down. And then I realized at the last second, I'm okay because I held on. Like, thank God. And then I see this in front of me. I see, what the hell was that? And it was me pulling the swing down in front of me, like that. And it catches me right on my thighs.
Oh.
And I actually crawled across Fillmore Avenue to go home.
But again, people don't realize the thing that hit you was
and
this,
I'm the gorilla.
this
And I'm the
thick,
gorilla.
solid
gorilla.
metal, solid
Yeah.
metal, this thick.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, it was
Can you
stainless
imagine?
steel.
Can you imagine
Stainless steel.
a kid crawling across busy Fillmore Avenue?
Yeah, and I'm the gorilla, right? The monster, the gorilla, whatever.
I had no other way. I was alone.
I'm
Ernie,
walking into playgrounds like this, climbing, swinging. You're like a Samsonite commercial.
No, the
Like they're
worst
Mrs.
part.
Luggage.
The worst part though is watching me crawl all the way home.
It's just like, I guess, everything in the generation we grew up in. There's a great documentary on Action Park. If you watch that, you'll die laughing. How dangerous that
Class
park
action
was.
park.
Yeah, Class Action Park. It's hysterical. But
Oh, we
people
lived
wanted
there.
to have fun, and no one was really getting really badly hurt. You know what I mean? It's not like more kids died then than they
You.
died today. You know,
Oh, I got cut on the Alpine slide every single time. Burns on every single time.
I got 8 stitches on the family slide.
You didn't need it. My father said you didn't need it.
No, that was the other. Yeah, that was and that just goes to show like parents were home and they were out. I fell and hit my head on a bumper, and I'm bleeding, and I got diagnosed 4 times as I walked down the block. Oh, you got to go to the hospital. You need stitches. The last house, Tommy's dad, World War II, served under Patton. He's like, yeah, fine. Just put a Band-Aid.
Put this wet sock on it. You're all right.
Yeah, there you go. Hold on. Here's an oil rag. The oil will get in and stop the bleeding.
How could you trust Tommy's father? He said, "You're fine. Go back into battle."
Yeah.
Right. Good point.
You got enough ammo? Get back in there. You know what I mean?
Come on, Doc. Back to you. Number 4. So what do we have to number 4? Come on. Let's move this.
I'm gonna go with street sports. I missed them.
Yeah, of
I don't
course.
see enough kids playing.
Yeah.
We used to play stickball on the street. Even though we grew up 1 block up from the park, there was something fun about playing, using people's houses as the fences,
Of course.
their lawns to dive on, which they hated us for doing it, and 2-hand touch football. Routes in between. 1 out, 5 and out, a flat in front of a hood of a car.
In between
But it
the
also
2
came
cars, right? Of course. That was the best
Yeah.
spot because no one
And it
can't
also
get
came
covered.
with it came with commercial breaks, because there'd be a car that came down the block and everyone had to stop where they were. It's the weirdest
Car!
thing.
Car!
Yeah, car. And everyone stopped. And sometimes they'd have to wait, the people in the car, like,
Yeah. Well, if you're in the middle of a play, of course.
yeah, but I missed that. And with that, it's blocks against blocks. My team, all block against the Stewart Street, Burnett Street. We always kicked everyone's ass. So best block in the history of blocks. And it was great.
But
Miss it. You don't
you
see it in the street too often.
You hit it right on the head. It's now everyone, kids today, they're in playgrounds. I have to drive my kids to the park, to the playground. Nobody even thinks to play on the street, where we were the opposite. I didn't think to go to the playground to play. Why would I play in the playground? I could play wiffle ball in my driveway. I play stickball right in the street. Like you said, 2-hand touch football in the street. Tackle if there's this much snow on the ground. Oh, we can play tackle
great.
today. It's snowing. We're okay. We're okay. Blasting
Yep.
cars, diving onto roofs of cars. You never see that anymore.
I would have a heart attack, because we also played hockey with the sticks. But I mean, we used the ball, but still with the sticks. Hitting into people's cars and stuff like that. If I came home from work, our neighbors were nice, because I'm telling you, I would have a heart attack.
I
The only-
don't,
I really
if a
would.
car parks in front of my house, I'm pissed off. Never mind if someone's diving on my lawn for a catch and they're
Yeah,
making
right.
giant divots in my lawn that I just freaking worked so hard on. I
Yeah.
feel right.
Well,
Yeah.
I got to say this though, the cars back then, a lot tougher than the cars
Well,
today.
that's definitely true. Yeah.
You could run into a car, and there'd
No,
be
so were the
nothing wrong with
kids. So were the kids.
it, you know?
Perfectly said. The cars were a lot tougher, but so were the kids.
Well, although I'll say this, like not on the streets. My son doesn't really play, but him and his friends were hanging out down in Breezy Point, and he's like, "Oh, you got to drop me off at Breezy." I'm like, "It's freezing out." No, we got a place to go. I said, "You going to someone's house?" No, yeah, I'm gonna be all right. So it turns out they built like a 10 by 30 foot I don't even know what you call it, building or something on the beach, and they were smart enough to not build it on the Breezy side. They put it on the federal ground side, so that they can go hang out in.
Built
And
it out of what?
They found plywood. They extended it out, right? And the only reason we
This is
found
Gilligan's
out,
Island. What the
it was like that. That's what it was like. So I'm like, how's he
Gilligan
going?
pedaling
It's
on the bike
freezing
doing
out.
the laundry.
Right? It's freezing out. They had some setup, and eventually the federal side took it down, but someone filmed it before they took it down, and someone had the video, and I'm like, oh my God, this was great. Like they were all
Wow.
hanging out in this thing. Like, and I'm like, I don't understand how you got away with it. He goes, because it's freezing out. it's in a part of the beach that no one really goes to because it's freezing out. And it's the middle of winter, right? So no one's really looking for it. So finally somebody found it. I mean, I had a guess because I would go pick them up sometimes. I'm like, whose house were you in? And like 20 kids are walking up a block. So that creativity, but not playing in the street, not in the least. I mean, I don't know how kids get hit by cars today because they're never around. They're never out. You know?
Did you, I mean, just for a second, the amount of cars that would go by during a game, I can't even fathom it. I couldn't even, how do you get going? Everything's it's almost like a professional football game. Commercial break, commercial break, commercial break. It's hysterical.
And every once in a while we go around the corner to Marine Parkway where now that's a street, right? We got 4 lanes.
No, the two-way streets, forget it.
Yeah.
You know,
but you're so right. Even just how the hell do we ever get a game in? How many cars would come down the blocks? Right?
I don't know. Hysterical.
All right, Aaron, what do we got?
This is from my high school times. After class, every weekday, they just have these random pickup softball games on the cement fields in Marine Park. Every day I used to rush on the bus, rush home. I'd run out there. It was a great memory for me. There were even girls playing with us, which was a big deal in high school.
But you would just show up. It would just be, you just show up and you get in a game.
Anybody walk onto the field and play a position.
That would never happen right now. Never. You got to join leagues and you got to join leagues and you got to do all this other shit today. You can't just go somewhere and play. You got to be part of a league and all this bullshit.
Not to mention, there's no tennis courts either anymore in our old neighborhood. They're gone too.
Right.
Well, this was the cement field, the concrete field, right.
And they weren't safe fields either, Ernie. You took your life in your own hands. Even though that ball was soft, there was grass growing up in between. Yeah. I mean, they were never tarred down, the ones in Marine Park. Never tarred down. They were never done over.
That concrete field is gone now, right?
Yeah, it's all basketball courts and some grass. Even behind the field house, talking about kids playing the game, we used to play a game. I can't say what we used to call it because it's not politically correct anymore, but basically it was kill the man. No, don't even say it, Tom.
I'm not editing it. Stop.
Don't even say it. But there'd be 15 guys, right? And one guy would stand all the way down at the other end of the field and you'd throw it to him and all 15 guys would run and try to tackle you. Right? And like you'd get pounded on, but I used to
kill the man with the ball. Kill the man with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, again, but we used to call it something else, but you can't say that, No intent, wasn't any other reason.
Say it.
It was funny to say, but
say it, Bill.
It wasn't,
say it.
But I remember Ernie, believe it or not, Ernie was pretty good at it. Ernie was one of the best guys that played this game. Like one time he jumped over somebody, like someone was trying to tackle him and Ernie literally leaped them, they couldn't bring him down. And there was this one guy that used to play. He was probably like 5'11", but like 300 pounds. He starts coming running down with the ball and Ernie flattens him. Like he takes him out. Everybody was like, whoa! And Ernie probably didn't know where he was after he did it, but we were like, oh my God, I can't believe he did it. So even those games, like I said, they don't play those games now,
No, it's amazing. I don't even know what the hell do kids even play. I mean, obviously I know they play sports if they're in a league and all this stuff. Do they just in lunchtime, do they play games like in their schoolyards and stuff?
Like where my son goes to school, they have like the handball wall up and they'll play after school. Like they throw the ball against the wall, whoever catches it or whatever. Right. But they don't and 222 has like a little bit of a field in it. So sometimes after school kids and then kids will play basketball.
They have two, yeah, they're opposite. It's like 207, same setup.
Right.
And they'll go to the park and they'll play basketball sometimes, but again, not at the level of the way we did it. It's just easier.
Yeah.
They go home, they put their headphones on, and they're talking to their friends.
Yeah. And listen, maybe if we had that technology, maybe that's what we would have done too, but we didn't have it. So we went out and fucking hung out with each other. I talked on the phone with my friends all the time, but if we had video games that we could actually play each other and probably talk while we're playing and FaceTime, maybe we would have done the same thing, but we didn't have it, so we made do with what we had.
We
I don't
had
even know how. We used to come home from work. You'd hit the answering machine. Well, there was a cell phone. That's how where are we going tonight? And then you pick up the phone and call. What did our parents do? With no answer machine. You know, it's like, it's amazing, you know? Wow.
nothing. They stayed home.
Yeah, but I always say it, even with my kids, I'm like, we didn't have computers and blah blah blah, all this stuff. How could you not have a computer? What did you do? You don't miss what you don't know. You don't have it, so you don't. It's not like you miss it. If we went back in time and didn't have a cell phone and didn't have all the stuff that we have today, we'd probably lose our minds.
Well,
but as you're growing up, you don't have those things.
Just pictures having to watch the show when it was on.
Oh, right. Running. I remember running home after school to fucking watch He-Man. If you missed it, it was done. I missed it. We're done.
Yeah,
That's Ernie. Ernie's famous. Meet George Jetson.
Ernie ruined one of the most phenomenal wiffle ball games in history. In the middle of it, Ernie's mother yells out down the block, "Ernie, Spider-Man's on!" And Ernie leaves. He just leaves. In the middle of the game, we're playing 4-on-4. He takes off and runs. And now we're like, what the hell just happened? Spider-Man.
Which Spider-Man, Ernie? The cartoon or the show?
This was the actual live show from like the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
It was a live show?
Live.
Yeah.
It was a cartoon.
I don't think so. I think this was a.
No, it was like the Hulk Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner.
No, that's a cartoon.
Like it was along those lines.
Yeah, but there was the Spider-Man live action one too, like the Hulk.
Was there?
Of course.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
At 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah.
I gotta Google this one because I don't remember that being on TV.
All right.
I'm calling bullshit.
Well, it was definitely on TV. I don't know what time it was on.
Well, I will tell you, I don't know what Spider-Man he watched, but he blew the game. He left.
I remember when Spider-Man would make an appearance on the electric company, I'd lose my mind.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
All right, my
number
4. So my number 4 is pretty easy. I mean, it's
4?
Yeah,
Only up to 4?
Yeah, we're only up to 4, yeah.
I gotta call Babbles up and tell him I'm gonna be here till fucking midnight.
My number 4 is easy. I mean, I miss all the local shops. Everything is a chain now, especially where I am in Jersey. You go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to Applebee's, you go to everything is a chain. Back in the old neighborhood, I miss the candy stores, especially, of course. Every corner, every little 3-block radius had its own candy store. I had Ryder Street candy store that I would go to, or I'd go to Tiamo on Flatbush and Flatland. Those are my candy stores. You'd go in and I'd look at all the rock magazines, and I'd have maybe $1 for the day. I'd buy one of those little quarter drinks. I'd put the pinhole in it. I'd squirt it into my mouth for the next half an hour. I'd buy a bazooka, and I'd buy maybe a hit parader or something like that. But, now everything is a chain. We even on Flatbush Avenue, you guys remember there was a store I think it was called Mike's Men's Shop. Do you remember that? It was was it Mike's?
Avenue.
Max.
No, Max's Men's Shop. Yes.
It's still there.
No, it's not.
It is. It burnt down and they built the new one. My friend works there.
Max's Men's Shop. I would go there and buy. I don't even know what they sold, like hunting stuff. But I remember going in there, like wanting to buy stuff.
They sold manly stuff.
Of course, and it was called Max's Men's Shop.
I don't even. Where was this?
Right across the street from Tiamo, down right on Flatlands, right off Flatlands and Flatbush.
Yeah, Flatlands and Flatbush, like by Kings Highway, like that.
In between, yeah. And then there was a 5 and 10 on that block that I used to always go to. 5 and 10, I'd always get little odds and end toys, or even toy stores back then. Yeah, I would go to a Toys R Us now and then, but Red's was my big toy store in the neighborhood. Yeah. Red's on Utica, I would go to, or there was one behind Kings Plaza too, but the one on Utica was where I would go. I just miss that stuff. Now chains are convenient. Amazon is convenient, but you know what you're getting before you walk in. When I used to walk into these types of stores, I never knew what was going to happen when I walked in. There could be something brand new that I'd never seen before, like would blow my mind.
You nailed it with one store with us. I mean, Mr. Sportsman on MVU. I mean, that was big. That was really big. All the Hurricane football gear.
Well, that's where you
all
get the
hockey
jerseys
gear,
made and stuff, right?
everything.
As the
Yeah, they did
sportsman.
everything.
Yeah, I
man.
remember. I
It
used
was
to go there too. Yeah.
fantastic. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, and that was
Crypto.
before Dick's. You know,
Crypto
I
wheels
remember
with the
even that was
German
like-
bearings. Right, Tom?
right, German sealed
German
bearings with cryptos.
90
Yeah.
bucks, $5 a wheel, and then you get the German bearings. It was like $90. And they would,
Yeah.
when you first put them on, you were smooth. You just could skate anywhere. You would make.
Well, you couldn't skate anywhere the first day. You had to break them in. 'cause
No,
it was square.
you're right. If you had a break in your skates, but if you had just got the new wheels with the bearings, like
Glide.
the bearings, the Germans knew what they were doing. Like you could just push off and go forever
Yeah.
with these things. The wheels were so smooth. Yeah, it's a lot of stores that are like that.
All right, let's
Yeah, I
move
agree.
along.
The luncheonette on Quentin Road,
Oh,
like they
yeah,
did
of
away with the
course.
luncheonette on Quentin Road.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Little shops like that. You never. I mean, even though there's some places in my neighborhood now, or even back in the old neighborhood, I very rarely will try a new local place, and I'm guilty of it because I know. Okay, especially with the kids now, I know the kids are going to eat something at Applebee's or freaking whatever pizzeria Uno, wherever you're going to go. You know what they're going to eat there. You go to a local place, you don't know what's going to happen. But back in the day, you didn't have all these chains. Yeah, you had McDonald's and stuff like that, but you went to the diner. I went to the Oasis. You know, those are the places you went to.
Agreed.
All right,
Awesome.
Bill, back to you. Number 3.
Well, this goes along the lines of what you just said, Joe. But there's one store in particular that the deli's still there, but it's not the same as when we used to go. But there was a deli on Quentin Road, Madison Place, Dick's Deli, and the guy that worked there was fabulous. So we would go
And
up there.
Louise.
The parents
His
would
wife,
send us
Louise.
up to get cigarettes, and they'd say, "Hey, here's $1.25. Go get me a pack of cigarettes," and then get a 15-cent bag of chips. And maybe if you had enough, you get one of those drinks that you were talking about, Joe, right? You know, the little plant.
Water
God
drink,
only
yeah.
knows what was in that thing. It was like
Oh.
drinking dye, right? You know, I mean, it was terrible. And if you like baseball, you'd buy baseball cards from him.
Yeah.
And if you like the Yankees, he would take the pepper and he would put pepper on your pack. So hopefully you would get Yankees. And if you like
No
the Mets,
way.
yeah, if you like the Mets, he put salt on it.
I
You
never
know?
heard of that before.
Yeah, and you know, he made good heroes. He was always open. I remember one time there was like the blizzard, and I think your sister Marie, we went up there and got milk, and sure enough, we had no way of knowing if he was open, but the guy was reliable. He dug himself out and he got there and he was open. But it was now, you know, it's very few. There was another deli, Mauer's Deli, which was on Quentin Road further up. That guy just sold it. So there was really no
Wasn't he
deli.
the guy with the long curly hair that looked like a hippie?
Yep.
With the
And he
mustache?
loved he's loved the Rangers.
Right,
And
right.
I would go in and get something, and that's what you miss, right? Most of these stores you don't have
Mom
that
and
type
pop
of-
stores. That's what we're talking
Right.
about now.
Right, and you don't have that. Like I walked in, you know, he just sold it recently. I mean, we ended up with a good hero place, so I'm not going to complain. But you'd walk in, and you know, I have my Ranger hat on. Next thing you know, 20 minutes you're talking about the Rangers,
Of
how
course.
what do you think is going to happen? Someone else you know might come in the store, and now you're in the store having a conversation. Other
Just-
stores, you're just like, get me the hell out of here. I just want what I want, and I want to get out.
And you
know?
said it perfectly too. You know, your parents, my mom too, would send me to the store to get cigarettes and stuff like that. And the kids were the lifeblood of the neighborhood. You know what I mean? They would go do stuff like this, and all the owners of the stores were weirdly like almost like quasi guardians of all the kids in the neighborhood because they would watch out for you while you went to these stores. I remember I used to go to the same thing. I had a deli in my neighborhood. It was Mike's Milk Barn. It was on Ryder and Flatlands. And that was my deli. I'd always go there. Snyder got booted off. We would always go there and I would torture the guy at the deli, torture him every day. I want something free. And he would yell at me. Finally, he's like, yeah, grab an ice cream, any ice cream you want. And there was like the freezer right in front of the counter. He's like, yeah, grab the one on the bottom. I went to grab it. He threw me in the freezer and shut me in the freezer, locked me in the freezer. And I was banging on the freezer because I would torture this guy every day. But these people would take care of the kids in the neighborhood because it was a regular thing that the parents sent the kids out go grab some milk, grab a pack of cigarettes, and bring home the change.
Right. And you used to be able to get something, like you could afford to get something. And to your point about getting kids to go, I offered to pay my kids, and I'm trying to tell them the value. I said, go to the store. I live very close to stores. I'll give you $10 if you go to this. Nah, it's not enough. I'm like, if you divided that by like the 15 minutes it's going to take you to get there and back, that's a pretty good salary. It's like
Not only
$20 an hour.
But
like, how
you're so,
turning
but
that
you're so
down?
right. Like my mom never paid me to go. She would
No, you
say,
went.
if there's a little extra left over, get
Right.
yourself a bag of chips. Get yourself
Right.
like you said, a pack of baseball cards, some piece of gum. That's why you would go.
Right.
And
A
we'd
bazooka.
carry on bazooka. You carry on the paper bags, the big paper bag. No plastic
Right.
bags back then. You have the big
Right.
giant paper thing.
Right. And at some store, I mean, I used to get it at my house. Yeah, milk came in a glass jar.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
had a
get-
milk box on my porch. We had
Yeah,
the
so
milkman
did I.
deliver. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Growing up,
I wonder if they even have that anymore. You
The
know,
milk-
like I was trying to think
milkman?
about that. It was so good too. Like, I mean, it was just it's like a different level. Even like, getting into other stuff, the way the quality of it, like soda, they chintz out sometimes. It's not the
Yeah.
same with the way the soda's mixed and stuff like
no,
that.
even as a kid, I had a seltzer machine, and we'd make our own soda sometimes.
Yeah.
We'd have the syrup, the mixes, and we'd have the seltzer, and we'd mix them together. It was incredible.
We're getting old.
Yeah. When we mentioned the milkman, we really sound like our grandpas
Yeah,
now.
we just sounded like we were 80.
Come on, Ern. Let's skip the doctor for now. He got booted off. What do you got?
What are they up to? Number 3?
You are up to number 3. Yes.
Damn.
Sunday afternoon handball.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was
That-
that was our thing. That was the
That-
only sport we were playing, even as grown-ups, practically.
Those days were just awesome, on a nice like April day, like 60, 70 degrees, get a few beers, get the radio, go over to the park. No one bothered you as long as you weren't being an idiot, like breaking bottles and stuff. I don't even think I've ever saw where we used to play on Avenue U. I don't think I ever saw a cop ever come into that park
No way.
ever,
way.
And
we would go there specifically knowing, okay, we're not going there to play a game. You go in there for the whole day to hang out. And we'd have people coming in and out the whole day. Hey, well, I knew you guys are going to be here. They'd stop by for 20 minutes. They'd leave. Another group of people would come and say hello.
I remember playing one time. I forget. I think we were waiting for somebody. I don't know what we were like 25, 26 or something like that. This guy's like 55 years old. He goes, "Oh, guys, can I play?"
The loafers, right? He wore penny loafers.
Yeah.
Of
And
course.
this guy, I never ran so much in my whole life and all the games we played. This guy didn't move. He had me hitting balls off the wall, like an inch off the wall, bouncing off the line and hitting the fence, like
Yes.
impossible. Now, when we first started the game, we go, this guy is going down. On the other side of that was Ernie destroying a 3-year-old in handball, smashing the ball against the wall.
Hey,
And
mister,
after
mister, can I play? Yeah, sure. Come on over. What? Killers. He's
and
been
after
just
each
kicking
shot
killers.
going, yeah. Those are the couple of memories and Joey, Ernie, me and you could speak about this, but Joey and Carmine cheating all the time. I mean, that was definitely
Never
one of the lowlights of playing, but we
Stop.
battled through it and we still played,
Carmine, I'll repeat this story. Carmine and I were undefeated for over a century. And we've never lost. Anytime we got together, no one wanted to play us. They would split us up. We were unbeatable at handball.
Yeah.
You know that.
Except Carmine played a little like he thought we were playing hockey, and he like push you out of the way and he'd like bump
Well,
into you,
Between you and I, Carmine wasn't that good. I carried the team.
Well, there's a good thing he doesn't watch this, so I think he can get away and say whatever.
No, but handball was, don't get me wrong, I really loved playing handball. But
It was great.
it was so much fun to hang out all day long at the park with a cooler. Always, more than likely, we'd go to Chinese afterwards, right? We go to New China, not New China Inn, Jesus, China New Star. New China Inn was our first place, right, Ern?
Yeah, they closed down.
Yeah.
And we had enough people that you weren't playing constantly. You know what I mean? Like you could take
Right.
a break and chill out. And like I said, we had the radio. And one of the funniest times ever was we were listening to Enough's Enough, and it was like a gang, like literally a gang playing basketball. And they were like, it was, I don't even know if you call it basketball. They were mugging each other the way they were playing.
Yes.
It was a physical game. And I think it was what's the song? I think it was There Goes My Heart. Was
Yes,
that the one?
100%.
And all of a sudden the song's rolling out and ending, and they're all singing the song. There goes my heart. It was so funny to see, like,
Great.
it was like a split second. Like I said, they were playing a pretty rough game of basketball, and that pause, and they couldn't get that song out of their head.
Great song.
It's a catchy song.
Yeah,
I played
absolutely.
it for my kids, and like an hour later, my son I see him walking around the Sunday.
Here comes the doc. He's back. Hold on.
Oh, he's back. Here he comes.
You should pretend we're finishing, Joe, when he comes
Oh,
on.
here he comes. They had a little malfunction on the space station.
All right, everyone. Good night. It was a good show, everyone. We'll see.
Great. Great. If anybody wants to know Tommy's rest of his top 5, write him a letter. 18666 Satan Lane, Whitehaven.
Come on, Doc. We skipped you. Ernie went to Sunday handball. He misses. That's what he misses.
That they don't do anymore?
He misses
Yeah,
playing
maybe
with
Al
his
doesn't.
balls.
Oh,
I don't do it anymore.
He misses playing with his balls on Sunday.
If you drive by Avenue U Parks, nobody's ever playing over there anymore.
They
Guaranteed.
don't call me handballs for nothing. But anyway,
What do you got, Doc? Number 3.
I got block parties, baby.
Oh my God, I forgot about block parties.
This is like the ritual,
That's a good one.
the ritual for the little kid when he wakes up the next day and can run in the street without the cars and the interruption. You don't even know what to do with yourself. You just run it. I remember just running the street and just running in the street like a lunatic because there's no cars coming. We never played football. We never did anything, but we hung out in the street. We stood in the middle of the street and we hung out. And the band would come later at night or the DJ, have a blowout. I mean, the adults would get effed up. This is when I was a kid. As we got older, things changed a little bit with gunfire and stuff like that. You were guaranteed something to go on. But but as a kid, there was nothing. Free ice cream, free food.
Nothing's free, Tom. My parents pay for it.
It was just a little kid's dream. That was,
Right?
it was
You didn't realize it as a kid. All the parents chipped in for the block party. You don't realize it.
Right. Nothing's free. Right.
No, but they still have them in this neighborhood, but they have to end at 11 o'clock. It's not the same at all. They used to have the block closed for a few days. Like it'd be a whole weekend thing. And the point that like the parents really got into it. I lived on East 38th Street and it was 1976. We had a parade to start the block party off. We all dressed up like colonial soldiers.
Really?
And
38th and where? Where'd you live?
Between Fillmore and S.
Wow.
But you know what was so funny about it? We had a parade, but everybody on the block was in the parade. There was no one to watch it. So we were all watching down the block. And it's like no one there. There's like everybody.
No
on the
spectators.
block.
Everyone is
spectators at all.
participating. That's
There's
amazing.
There's nobody there. It's our parade. The fire engine would come and you squirt the hose and stuff. And now, like I said, they have them, but they have to, there's a strict, like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Got to be over. They open
There's
up
a noise ordinance probably.
Yeah. It's definitely not the same. Like I said, there used to be 2-day block parties, you have, and then also there was.
But even Billy, even when it wasn't, we wouldn't take down the.
Yeah, you just had the horses.
You still have the blocks blocked off, right?
Right. And Joe, to your point, people love them. Now it's like people can't wait to put their car back in front of their house. Right. It's so funny. It's like the guys are standing on the corner in their cars waiting for them to take that stupid barricade down. And most of the time, people were dysfunctional and couldn't even stand up.
And I remember, like in the neighborhood, you always knew where the good block parties were. Like a lot of blocks had block parties and they were fun and they were kiddie and there was always blocked off.
You could hear the music.
You always knew there were certain blocks, like we would always go to one, I think it was 36 between maybe Quentin and R or somewhere over there. We always go to that block because the DJ was always great at the end of the night. It was always a big party. There was just certain block parties you knew, it was okay, but that wasn't the spot to be.
And then
I
also
remember,
the ritual of teens have a few drinks and they're fighting fathers. Every once in a while that happens.
well, they have. I remember one. We can't mention names, but one father. He seemed to be like a very reserved guy. He got tanked. He started jumping around with an electric guitar in the middle of the street, acting like Chuck Berry, and it was great. It was Ernie. Do you remember that? I know Bill does.
I do not
And I
remember.
know if the person watching this will know who we're talking about too.
Yeah, that was like the like Tommy's point was like, you'd have these mild mannered parents, and like you're not used to seeing that. All of a sudden, like, what the hell is going on? They're like, you can't picture that they're like going crazy in the middle of the street. Like you're like, oh my god, what the hell's going on?
It's called alcohol.
Right, yeah,
There's nothing.
right.
But I listen, when you woke up in the morning period, that feeling in the summer, walking down the street as a little kid, from as early as I can remember for all those years, it was the coolest feeling. We didn't play football either. We never did all the things that we always wanted to do without cars. Just standing in the street and hanging out was like shit. It was
with
the
nothing on. Right, the block was closed. No cars. It was just something special. You're so right.
Yeah,
you get the whip there or the half moon.
All the rides, of course.
Yeah,
dick. You're a dick.
I'll edit it out. All right, my number 3. So this is something I'm completely guilty of it now. I would never do this, and if it happens to me, I'm not doing it. And even when I lived down the block from Ernie, it would happen all the time. Just being able to go call for your friends, ring the doorbell of your friend's house on a whim. Just being able to, hey, what do you want to do? I don't know. You want to go call for Johnny? Yeah, let's see if he's home. You can't do that now. You got to text and you got to call. Hey, dude, are you around? Yeah, come by next Tuesday at 6:30. I think I'll be available. We would never do that. We would just walk around the neighborhood and ring people's bells and find out.
Be quiet, Phil.
And see, I mean, I know Ernie still does this, but nobody else
in
in the world does.
There's somebody on this call who still does it.
Well, I remember I used to live down the block from Ernie, where he lives now in Brooklyn, and Ernie would ring my bell, and my balcony would be there, and I would shut the light off, and Ernie would be like, yeah, Joe, are you home? I feel the light just went off. Are you still there? Nobody's home, Ernie.
The only person that stops over more than Ernie is the Amazon driver. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
No, but I love it. You just can't do it anymore. Nobody wants it. Sebastian Maniscalco had this great skin on it. It's when the doorbell, if the doorbell rings in my house, it's the truth. Everyone hits the floor.
We got people.
Oh, what are you doing here? Come in.
I thought I'd stop by. I was in the neighborhood.
Oh, look who's here. Get the Entenmann's. It's for company.
He is just nails that whole.
Oh, but it's spot on.
He didn't grow up in Brooklyn, but like that whole culture.
He grew up in Chicago, though.
But I mean, like the whole culture is very similar, probably, and that's why he's so funny because everybody.
He's like
all the things
nowadays.
Yeah.
Doorbell goes. Everyone, get down. Turn off the lights.
My wife, the doorbell rang the other day. My wife is literally before the doorbell rings. It rings. She's about to look out because she hears a car. She opens the shade, and someone's walking up. He's on the porch already, about to ring the bell. She goes and shuts the shades. He sees you there. He knows you're there. What are you doing? Doesn't matter.
You might as well just leave the shades open at that point.
What's the difference?
And still ignore him.
Right.
There was one day we all get out of the car and we walk into the house and someone wants somebody to sign something. They clearly see 4 of us walk into the house. We shut the door, we lock it, he rings the bell.
No answer.
Don't answer. Like this
light's still not on yet.
I think it was And as he's ringing the bell, my son is pulling the shades. The shades are going down like this. We were hysterical laughing, and it's so true with not wanting to answer the door. But I tell you, one day I'm sitting on my couch, and he scares the hell because literally I have a front porch and there's this window. The curtain's open. I'm sitting on the couch watching a show. It's loud. And he knocked on the window like that. It scared the shit out of me. I almost jumped off. I almost fell on the floor. Like I don't expect it. And one day he just doesn't even knock. He's just standing there with his hands on his hips. And I go, someone outside? And my son goes, it's Ernie. I go, what? He goes, it's Ernie. I said, that's not Ernie. It's Ernie.
No, but I think cell phones is the problem. Cell phones now, if you're driving over to somebody's house or walking over to somebody's house, you have your phone. You're calling them first. You didn't have that as a kid or back in the 80s and 90s. You didn't have that. You'd have
It's a leap of faith.
Of course, you're already. Chances are you're not just leaving your house going someplace random. If you're out already and you're near someone else's house, you go, oh, there's blah, blah, blah's house. Let's go call for him, see if he's home. Right?
Well, there was a small time where I tried it like that with Billy, where I would try to call, hey, listen, is it okay if I come over? There was always a reason for me not to come over. So I stopped doing that.
Sorry, I'm letting my shoelaces dry. You can't come over today.
Very busy, Ernie. Very busy.
I'm washing my shoelaces. I got to get them out of the dryer at the exact right time, or the edges will crack.
Try me next week.
Sorry.
The movie.
I just show up.
I'll see you soon.
Ernie, you inspired the movie Cable Guy.
All right, come on, let's go. What do we got? Drunk. Big
What
Head,
are we
back
up
to
to?
you. Number 2.
What are we up? Number 2. So this is like maybe not a neighborhood thing, but I guess like a cultural thing when you were growing up. But you always wanted to get a nice pair of sneakers, and not like today. People always seem to get the same pairs of sneakers. Like there wasn't this options. And I always remember, like at the time, they had these blue Pumas, these blue suede Pumas, and I had to get a pair. Right, everybody had them. And my mother wouldn't buy them for me. I'm begging my aunts and uncles, please, I just want the blue suede Pumas. Like, so the whole family chips in. They have like a GoFundMe back in the 1970s, 80s or whatever to get me a pair of blue suede Pumas. And I remember I was so excited. I got them. I put them on. I got my white socks. And like, and other people had them. Like I said, it was just like, if you tell somebody about them, and then I take my shoes off, my feet are blue. Right, the dye would go through the sock, and you would turn your feet blue. So I'm telling my kids, they love sneakers. It's like their big thing. They got like 80 pairs of sneakers, and I'm telling them about these Pumas, and they're like, they looked them up, and they're like, oh my god, you wore those things? Like I get abused. They're like making fun of me. And then my friend comes over, and I said, oh, I was just telling the boys about the blue Pumas. And the first words out of his mouth were, yeah, you remember how they died? They turned your feet blue? And the kids started hysterical laughing because that was like the thing that now it's not,
they were like, correct me, were they like baby blue?
No, it was like a
Teal.
it's a royal. It was a royal. They came in different colors, but I like the blue. It was like a royal.
Yeah,
blue.
they were like a greenish blue, from what I remember. They were the popular one.
And no matter when they were brand new, and it just goes to show you like how they really didn't care about quality. Like if you buy anything today, and like say you bought a suit, and after you wear it, you're blue, right? Because the dye just came through the suit. Like they didn't even care. Like, I probably have ink poisoning. And now that I'm older, I get some numbness in my feet. And I wonder, was it because of the blue Pumas? Like the dye is
maybe you have a lawsuit on the.
Yeah, I mean they got a lawsuit through the Pumas.
Yeah, it's gonna be up there with talcum powder. Unbelievable.
Just to hold on a second. I don't know if we've touched on this yet. We touched on it before we hit record. For anyone who's watching this and thinks, because we've been drinking, obviously, Billy's playground shirt is printed like that. Don't think your eyesight is going. Billy has a bad printing of our world famous playground shirt. Somehow Amazon printed
It's-
the back on the front as well.
Look, it's got all the dates on it. I know I keep on going out because I have the filter, but
Very valuable.
people right now, there was a great skit that Andy what was his name? Who was the Locke did? What was Locke's name? Andy Kaufman?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did a special where in the middle of the special, he just had, when the TV goes out, he just put the snow on the TV for like 5 minutes, right? So he said, it'll be the greatest joke, right? So that's what happened. It was like sort of like The Sopranos, right? The end of the Sopranos series, everybody thought their TV broke. I remember Carmine calling me, did your cable go out? I was like, what? He goes, your cable went out? I know, why? He goes, that was it. That's how it ends, But yeah, this is our optical illusion with this.
It's getting worse as I'm drinking.
Come
on, Doc.
Billy, who was that comedian you liked, Billy, growing up? Fuck you, it's an illusion. You used to love that guy.
There's so many, even with that.
Fuck you.
You might have to do a show on that, Joe, like comedians, because there's so many.
Did we do that? We haven't done that, right? That's a good one.
There's different categories, yeah. No.
Come on, Doc, number 2.
Number 2. Well, the little mobile rides that used to go down the block as a kid.
Oh, there it is.
You had the half moon. I believe there was a saucer.
Of course.
I believe.
Yeah.
But the dreaded whip.
Yeah.
That was terrifying. You would
But
go.
wait, was the whip one of the
1.5
drive around
miles an hour.
ones?
What?
What was this?
Yeah, it just went around in
Yeah.
a circle, but it
Yeah,
whipped
yeah.
you.
It went around a circle, but it would go 1.5 miles an hour, if that.
Yeah.
And then go 3 miles an hour. 3 miles an hour. 1.5.
That's why he sold the whip.
The funny thing about it was it really wasn't that big, but when you were that little and you were on it,
Of course.
it
I would
felt
It's like
never-
everything else.
The-
It's like everything else. I go back to the old block. I thought there was 100 houses on one side of the house. I go back on one side of the block. I look now. It's like I think I could throw a football from one side.
You can almost
Marine
touch
Park.
both
That's what
sides
it
of the
looks
street.
like.
If you stand in the middle of the street, you can almost touch both sides.
I know, it's crazy that we used to actually,
I
that
was
was
a
our
fan
world. That was our whole world back then.
The half moon that would come around my block, it was called the King Kong for some reason. I mean-
there you go. Now you did it. But I mean,
Now
I
you
like
did it. I'm
the
going to go
half
out
moon.
tonight in the city. You read about me tomorrow morning. But anyway.
the half moon to me was the funnest one out of all those. Oh, the whip was pretty good, but it didn't come around. I don't
As
recall.
we got older,
like
the
that.
whip. As we got older, the whip. You moved on to the half moon.
And the funny thing about the half moon is watching the guy try to stop it, right? Because he would like
Annually. Annually.
he'd have to grab onto it to stop
Can
it.
you
I mean,
imagine one of those rides coming around your block right now and
No, but what
letting
happened?
letting
There'd be
your
a
kids go
lawsuit.
on?
There'd be a lawsuit today.
Of course.
No one be allowed. No insurance company in their right mind would go, here, take a half moon thing, put it in the back of a truck, ride to the neighborhood, and get Joe Schmo here, give him minimum wage. No,
Can't
no
even
ability
imagine it.
whatsoever. And put little kids in it, and watch their parents watch it and go, ha 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 ha. It ain't gonna happen.
Wait,
Ernie,
little kids any age without their parents for a quarter.
Yes. Right. You didn't, right. When the kids went on, you didn't have to say, oh, well, where's your parent, little boy, little girl? No. Go right on. Go on. Yeah, you go
No,
up to the
it was-
top?
it was-
Go ahead.
It was get on the half moon, Waldo.
Not even checking the age of the kids, any age.
it's like a 16-year-old driving the truck. I mean,
Oh,
I
forget
threw a baby in there in a carrier that was on the front seat.
it. Those things. Oh, my God. Jesus.
Oh, by the way, there was no carriers back then.
No, good point. No, right. No car
Mommy
seats
was
and all
mommy
that
and
stuff,
daddy were
right?
the carriers.
Were there car seats when we were kids? No way, right?
No,
yeah, your mom's lap. That's your car seat.
I would sit on the little hump in the back seat, whatever.
Yeah.
If you were in a station when you had that little
my father,
bump.
I think my father put me on the dashboard.
I was watching.
To keep an eye on me. He's like,
I was watching an episode.
Your
Of,
wise ass. The kid goes like this. He put me out of the back seat and put me on the dashboard.
That's
On
safe.
his way to the bar. On his way to the bar.
We wedged you in. You were safe.
I remember an episode of the Brady Bunch, right? They had that station wagon with the back. There's 9 of them, right? So they all get in. There's 4 in the middle, and Cindy is sitting on Mrs. Brady's lap as she drives the car. So, needless to say, and Alice was in the back, the facing window. So when the car got rear-ended, she went right into.
Come on, Ernie. What do you
Every
got? Number
time you do
2.
that, your limbs disappear. It's spooky.
I'm gonna change my number 2 and my number 1 around because I don't want to ruin it. My number 2 is now the Flatbush bar scene.
Oh boy.
It's the first thing Billy mentioned. It
Well, Ern, I don't want to break this to you, but I call Colleen and I have her look at your picks, and she gives them to me so I can beat you.
That would be epic. Oh my God.
It's amazing what you get these days for $15.75.
You forgot to mention bench warmers, Bill.
Oh, that was the one I was thinking of. Yeah,
That was
the
on
one.
Quentin, right?
Yeah, that was one of the. That bar was so fun. I mean,
I love
it
bench
was,
warmers.
it was a
Love
big bar. You know what I mean? Other bars were kind of
Huge.
compact. That was a huge bar.
Sports
There was
bar,
so-
too.
There
Joe,
was
you
so many.
remember that? We used to play softball and then run
Yeah.
up there.
Of course. What is
And
that?
they
On the
had the-
corner of 36th?
Yep.
Yep,
They
they
had
had the bubble hockey.
Yes, the bubble hockey. They had the real bubble hockey, Joe, not the fake one that Babbles has.
Oh, that's not real. Of course not.
That is the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, Ernie.
Babbles has it in his
that
basement.
bubble hockey thing.
Ernie.
No,
Ernie
Babbles
would
has a
just
cheap
spit it like this.
knockoff that he got from Wayfair or something.
One night, you don't remember that? What he did? Tom, you don't remember me there? He goes over, he goes, go along with me, go along with me. He comes up, he goes, and one of Joe's friends was like, you guys are such ball busters. Like, he comes up and he goes, go along with me, go along with me. He goes, Babs. He always starts off with Babs, right? Babs, I was looking at that game and something a little off. And he go, what? He goes, the Russian red doesn't look right. The red looks a little off. I don't think that's the real game. Joe's like, that course, that's the real game. And he goes, Bill, what do you think? Like, it's we go, you might have something there. And that was just like infuriating. He was looking for the receipt, the certificate of authenticity.
Amazing.
It was so funny. And then later on,
I got a certificate. Putin himself signed off on.
Joe had a beautiful backyard, this nice TV, and his neighbor has their light on in the back, and it's like on the corner of the TV, the light's there. And Joe, he's sitting there, goes, Babs, you go tell your neighbor to turn that light off.
I got a glare on the TV, Bat. What the hell are we doing here?
He's wrong. How do you even?
We're
You got a BB gun or something? We could take that out.
We're eating steaks. I'm complaining about the glare. That's he goes crazy. All right, my number 2 is easy. This is chubby me in the neighborhood back in the day. I miss and today's it's getting ridiculous. I went the other day to a pizzeria. I miss dollar slices, or even more. I think I used to get a slice and a Coke for $1. Never mind dollar slices.
Yeah.
Pizza now is $3.50 a slice, a plain slice.
As far as $5 a slice.
Oh, well, that one's worth it.
There are no.
I work in downtown Brooklyn, and they just closed down the last $1 slice place.
Yeah, but the dollars, the ones that advertise, those
Not
are
real
like
pizza,
freaking,
though.
yeah, that's like Domino's. That's not real good. But I'm talking about the neighborhood pizzerias, and I know it's inflation and all that stuff, but it's still different. Back in the day, as a kid, you had a $1 on you. You could go in and get a meal you'd get a soda and a slice, and you'd be ready to go. Now, you send your kid with $10 to the pizzeria, you can't even eat.
No, and like one pizzeria by us.
Get out of here! $10.
How much do your kids eat, Joe?
Well,
$10. Get out of here.
get out of here! I'll give you a crust.
There's like a pizzeria by us. They didn't change the price, but the pizza got small. The slice is like this. I can eat it with.
That's what you got to watch now during this COVID
Yeah.
thing. They're cutting down on the amount, the quantity as opposed to the quality. It's amazing.
Right,
You
and
gotta
it's
keep an eye
funny.
on the ounces on everything you buy.
Yeah.
Joke. Yeah, Joe, I'm right there. It was one of my honorable mentions.
Really?
I'll just put it out there because I had 2. Not really, but it deals with a pizzeria. What happened to pizzerias with Italian ices in it?
Oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah.
Nobody has the ices.
No, you know what?
You could get in the summer. They'd reach behind and scoop out a
course.
rainbow ice, a lemon, a
Quentin-
chocolate.
Quentin Pizza
What
still
was
has
it?
the
Now
ice.
it's two different entities now.
Now I got to go to a Ralph's Ices or Uncle
Right.
Uncle Louie's near you, right, Ern? We used to
Uncle
go.
Louis
But
G's.
it's a pain in the ass. The pizzerias
Ice's
always
Queen
had
on
the ice.
Utica, right? Ice's Queen on Utica.
Quentin
Quentin
Road.
Go in there.
Quentin Road still has the ices.
Tom,
No
we used
way.
to, we used
Jerry?
to,
Yeah.
Tom, we used to get the big bucket of rainbow ice and put vodka in it. Remember?
I don't remember that.
Uh-oh.
I do not recall, Senator.
All right,
no
Remember the game
recollection.
we used to play, Joey,
what was the game? Uh-oh.
with the army guys.
Oh, Captain Chaos?
Captain K.
Of course. It's the best.
With Dave. We did that one with Dave. That stint.
It was
we
absolute
decided
chaos.
we decided we're gonna get a giant magnum of vodka and go to Ice's Queen and get rainbow ice.
The full
whole
tub.
bucket.
We'd get the full tub with the scooper.
And God knows how much sugar is going to our
forget it.
bodies that night.
Good for a
Right.
hangover.
Scoop. It's like, forget it. Anyway.
All right, let's go to our number ones.
Those were the days.
Let me recap, Billy, what you got. So number 5, the bars in the neighborhood on Flatbush especially, gone. Number 4, the old playgrounds with the metal swings and the metal slides. Number 3, Dick's
Wait,
Deli.
he misses that because he wants his kids to get hurt.
Dick's
Made a
Deli,
lawsuit.
all the local deli, missing the local deli. Number 2, new sneakers, especially the Blue Pumas. And your number 1 thing you miss about the old neighborhood?
They're still around. It's not the same interaction. The ice cream man.
Oh, yeah.
Like we had Eddie the ice cream man when I lived on 38th Street. I forget the guy that was over by us, and my cousin's block was around the corner. There was a guy, Saul, but you knew the guy. Right now, I don't even know who's coming.
Of course.
It's like a different guy every week driving the ice cream truck,
He needs to get screened. He's not allowed to come to your neighborhood to deal with kids unless you get screened.
But but he got arrested every time, right? But they would pull over and they were there for a while. It wasn't like they just hit and ran,
And it's almost like those guys had their own territory too.
Yeah,
They knew.
But he could tell what you're gonna have another ice cream soda.
Right.
You want to
He
shake.
remembers,
He
right.
knew what you wanted, and he knew your name, and like all the kids would come up. He knew everybody. He'd say hello. Now, like I said, I don't even know who's bringing the ice cream.
And we
It's
would
like-
always have 2, but we'd always have the same guys, but there'd always be 2 different ones. We'd have Mr. Softy
yeah,
and Goodyear, right? Goodyear?
good humor.
Good humor.
Good humor. You got tires. There we go, kids. This is a radio.
And the worst. Here's the worst. I remember,
Here's a bomb pop and a tire. There you go. Enjoy that, kid.
Winter's coming. Here's the all seasons.
you'd hear that ice cream man bell and lose your mind, but every once in
Yeah.
a while you'd get tricked. And this thing is not around anymore. The freaking knife sharpener guy would be coming
Yes,
around, right?
yes.
And you would get tricked by the knife sharpener guy with, I don't even, how the hell,
Oh,
did anyone ever use the
very
knife
good,
sharpener
Joey.
guy?
Yeah, the serial killer
But
down the
it was-
block loved the knife shop.
Yeah, it was not only that. It was not only knife sharpening. It was the old lawnmowers.
Yeah,
He was at the push, and they go, and he would sharpen that.
Yes.
The shears that they used to use.
But
That
then
was
the
a
bell
whole
would
bunch
the
of
bell would
shit.
be significantly different. It would be ding. It would be different, but quickly you'd think it was the ice cream man. You go, whoa, fucking bell sharpener, the
Kids,
knife sharpener guy.
It's like
kids,
they
grab the
between,
knives.
It's like no.
Hurry up, he's leaving. Grab the knives.
Joe, get these sharpened for me. Mom's throwing the knives down to everyone.
Ow, Dad, I'm all cut up. The knives are sharp.
I used to come back in the house holding knives and ice cream. 'Cause I didn't want to make 2 trips.
No, but I still have an ice cream man in my neighborhood, but you're so right. It's days and days and days before I hear him again. Back in the day, that ice cream man you'd hear him 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day coming down your block.
But like I
It
said,
was like
the turn-
you had to know the difference between
turnover.
live wire cowbell and blew us a cowbell. You had to train your ears to it. You had to know what was going on.
Wait, hold on. Shh, shh. Yep, it's Mr. Softy. Yeah, he's 6 blocks away. Get ready.
Make some money. Go through the couch.
And I remember running barefoot, top speed. My feet were burning. Top speed for the ice cream man. Top speed.
Leaping over a car like Bo Duke.
Pennsylvania, they got a truck that goes through and they clean your weapons.
Do they really? I believe it.
No.
Like, I wonder, like, that's an interesting thing you brought up, Joe, about the knife sharpening guy. Like, I wonder how he did. Like, did he make any money? Like this is a truck from the 30s that he won in a card game, and he decided to go see if he could make some money off of it.
What happened was, it was good in our neighborhood. When we went up to Harlem, the weapons that they were sharpening turned out to be later weapons. They probably got shut down.
I mean, looking back, there were so many places of business, including probably the knife sharpening guy, that were fronts for other things. There's no way these business. The freaking shoemaker.
The shoemaker hit his day, without a doubt.
No, there's no chance anyone ever got shoes repaired.
You put the whole sole on the bottom of your favorite shoe. A whole sole takes 20. Come back in 24 hours. He goes, that'd be $2. You go, how is that possible? I'll do laces. The laces are $8. You go, wait. New laces are $8, but you just sewed a whole sole on the bottom of my shoe.
Right. So you got a good idea there. If you want to launder some money, just get one of those knife sharpening trucks. You don't know how many knives I sharpened this week. It's unbelievable.
That's what I'm doing. I'm Ernie. Let's chip in. We'll buy a knife sharpening truck. We'll drive.
Joey, how many people have viewed this? Your top 5 now, altogether.
Oh, I don't know if it's the same. I don't know if it's the same people over and over again.
Ernie,
we average about 2,500 listeners a week, somewhere around that area.
No, there's going to be about 2,500 new trucks.
Knife sharpening truck. And you're right, Billy. The trucks always looked like they were from like the 30s.
Yeah, it looked like it was in The Godfather. Like that's how they laundered. Hey, Godfather, I got a knife sharpening business. I need some help.
Hey, keep it down. Give me a shiz. Get in the back of the truck. Yeah.
Great one, Billy. All right, Doc, you're number 1. Let's recap what you got. Number 5 still might be the pick of the night.
This is the greatest topic or greatest thing I've ever heard anybody say.
Number 5, playing with escaped mental patients.
You know how crazy that sounds?
But it's true. I know it. I had a house on my block that was, we still don't know to this day what it was, but it was some kind of home for like special people and stuff. And there was always people wandering in and out, All right, number 5, playing with escaped mental patients. Number 4, street sports, of course. Number 3, block parties. Number 2, the mobile rides that would come around. Number 1, Doc, most thing you missed about the neighborhood.
No, Joe, you had touched on it a little bit, but I never thought in my lifetime there'd be no toy stores. And that goes not only our neighborhood, you brought up Reds on Utica, you brought up Reds in Mill Basin, and Toys R Us on it's depressing.
Yeah.
I never thought, to not be able to go into a toy store is robbing every child of just being able to, and every adult that does Christmas shopping that brings them back to their childhood, that can touch things and see things. And I hope they bring it back, and I hope something changes, because this is something that if you would have told me.
Never.
Right. It's just a bad marketing scheme. It can never happen.
Right.
People need toys.
As
if you bring a kid into Toys R Us, what happens?
Lose their mind. If someone told you as a kid, you want to invest in Toys R Us, you'd be like, oh my, this is the best business in the world to invest in, because every kid needs Toys R Us forever, and you lose your mind. But kids have a little piece of it today. When my kids go to Target or Walmart or even a drugstore, they're always diving to the toy aisle. It's the same way.
They expanded after they took it on a little bit.
It's just on a much lesser scale. You go to Toys R Us as a kid, it was an event. Saturdays, if I knew we were going to Toys R Us, I would look forward to it for a week.
Wasn't there a Play World too?
Yeah, sure.
That was like the competitor with Toys R Us?
Was
When,
it called Play World? I
Is
don't
it
remember.
Play World? What was it
There was
called?
K&B Toy and Hobby.
Yeah.
No, that was a smaller chain, but the I think it was Play World or something like that. Anyway, it competed with Toys R Us. Giant stores in Jersey and stuff, I think. I don't know. Well, whatever.
I remember when it was closing, my youngest son said, he was a little older, but he goes, I feel bad. I go, why do you feel bad for? He goes, because now when kids do something good, there's nowhere to take them.
Right. It's so true. Right.
And
Son, if you do this for me, I'll take you to
Yeah.
Toys R Us next week. Right.
yeah, my son pooped on the potty because he got a trip to Toys R Us. I mean, it was we had to see. We had to run out immediately. It was like,
That's so cool.
shit. It was like this. Hey, shit! Let's go to Toys R Us.
When I got my promotion, my family took me to the bar.
Well, that's like your Toys R Us.
But yeah, what it was is it was just toys. You go to Target,
Right.
it's not
Right.
just
Mom is, oh, right. Mom
know?
will be like, oh, yes, you can look at the toys 5 minutes because I got to go do this and I got to go get
Right.
the new
Right.
Cuisinart freaking stir fryer and blah, 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 whatever. Toys R Us was strictly for the kids. There was
You
no
weren't
other
going
shopping
eggs and
going
milk.
on.
No, I don't agree with that. I think that it was the best time going Christmas shopping for your kids
yeah.
to relive
Yeah.
all those toys and those games that you grew up with and that you want to give them a little part of your
You're right.
past.
You're right.
And it was so much fun, Chris. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to go to Toys R Us to go Christmas
Although-
shopping.
I had an incident there once. It wasn't very pretty, but I don't know if I should get into it or not.
Uh-oh.
But
So Joey used to steal Star Wars figures.
now,
from
so
us.
We don't talk about that.
I had a coupon. I had a coupon that I got in the mail that it worked with my Toys R Us credit card. And Leanne was away, and I'm like, that's when we went to Toys R Us when she was gone, right? We'd overspent, we'd come home with stuff, and she'd come back. Why does it look like there's more toys here? I don't know. It's the
Oh,
same
no.
toys. They haven't really played with. So we're waiting online. I have a 25% off coupon. I let them get what they want. And the lady takes my Toys R Us badge and goes, dude, oh, it's not working, sir. The system's down. So what does that mean? Well, we can't give you your coupon. I said, what do you mean you can't give me the coupon? It's right here. I'm
Right.
holding it
What
in
do you
my
have to
hand.
scan it for? Right.
I said, the lady was, oh no, I can't scan it. I was like, get the manager over here. Get the manager over here. I go like that. The manager comes over and she starts going, what the heck? You know, she's like, oh, sorry, sir, I can't do it. I know. You got the code. You can put the code in and give me 25% off. And
Why
if
don't you
you're
put a gun
telling-
to her head?
right?
Open the
So-
safe. Open the safe.
That's
I
what I'm so I'm getting more and more aggravated, right? They have the code. She could give me the 25% off. But sir, the thing don't work. I don't really care that it doesn't work, right? I start going nuts and then I lose it. And I just start screaming, this place a ripoff!
No.
Don't buy anything from here! Right? I go crazy. My kids are like, my kids are like, I go, don't worry, kids. We're gonna buy something from Amazon and we'll get twice the stuff, right? As I'm walking out the door.
You are
And
a lunatic.
I was a lunatic that day. I get in the car with my son.
That day, no, once a lunatic, always a lunatic.
Yes.
Billy.
My
Sorry.
son,
Go
my
ahead.
son,
Escaped mental patient.
we get in the car and I'm pleading him to go,
Want
guys.
25 cents? Can you sing, Bill?
Yeah,
You are a Karen.
no, well, they deserved it. Honestly, they could have put the code in. I get in the car and I'm yelling, they're robbing us. They're robbing us. And my son sits down in the car and he goes, Dad, should I call 911? I go, what? I go, what? I'm like this. What are you talking about? I goes, well, they robbed us.
Amazing.
So, long story short, I said, guys, it might take a day to get, but we're gonna get twice the amount of stuff from Amazon.
Well, I know why Toys R Us closed.
Exactly. I was just going to say it.
They had to hire extra security.
All right, Ernie.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, Bill, you should have wrote a letter like Ernie said.
Oh, wait till I tell you about my Disney story.
Oh, no.
Next
Come on,
episode.
Ern. Number 1, here we go. Let's recap what you got. Number 5, discovering albums at Zigzags. Number 4, little pickup softball game at Marine Park. Number 3, Sunday handball. Number 2, same as Billy, the Flatbush bars. Number 1, Ernie, what you miss most about the neighborhood.
you guys are not even gonna know what I'm talking about. But when you, I wish Carmine was here. But let's face it, when we're little, Christmas is a big deal because of the toys. But when you're a teenager, Christmas really is no big deal. There's nothing you could get. Nothing you could get really for a teenage boy. But I had something. When I was working in Macy's all year long, boring job. But right around Christmas time, beginning of December, suddenly hundreds and hundreds of girls would be hired for only 1 month. And they called it Christmas help. And it happened every year.
Wait,
Poor Colleen.
are we straying off this topic to sexual fantasies, or I thought this was old neighborhood things that have changed.
Ernie's number one, Christmas help.
That's extremes. Playing with mental patients and Christmas help.
Christmas help isn't it? It really was Christmas time.
I can't.
I want I want to, Ernie. So give me an example. So you're working, it's December 15th now, whatever the day the new help comes in. Are you dressed up this day? You got the gut sucked in? What do you
got a
do?
haircut? Like a new cologne?
Look how he throws. Look.
Divvying things up. Like by department. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh my God.
Wow,
He cut the Christmas help.
Let me help you. Oh, let me help you.
I heard Ernie gets a part-time job at Macy's now. December
Every
14th.
Every Christmas.
What is it? This is turned into sexual fantasies. Top 5 sexual fantasies.
This is right back to the mud pies, Ernie.
Oh my God.
What the hell?
Oh, God, that's
Christmas
good.
help. Ho, ho, ho.
I can't wait to hear his honorable mention. Where this is going. I like to go in the dressing rooms and watch the girls get dressed. The older women and watch them get dressed.
Christmas help, Ernie. This is
Whoa.
awesome, amazing. Ernie, you keep freezing. Are you still on your hotspot?
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that.
He's missing Christmas help.
Oh, incredible! I could just
Next
see Ernie and
top
Macy's.
5. Top 5 fantasies, sexual fantasies.
Not for nothing. I don't think you'll ever hear again. Number 5, playing with mental patients. You'll never hear that. That might have been the first time that was ever said ever.
That sentence has never been said
But
before.
up there,
You're
number 2 is working for Macy's and hiring young girls, hundreds of young girls.
Hundreds of young girls.
You went from mental patients to sexual appetite. There's something weird here.
Only Carmine would understand it, though.
All right, so my number 1. Let me recap what I got. So number 5, eggs and shaving cream on Halloween. Number 4, all the local shops closing down and giving away to chains. Number 4, just showing up at your friend's house to call for them to see if they were home, unexpected. Number 2,
Is that better?
that's better. Dollar pizza. Number 1. So my original number 1 was going to the record store for just hours and just looking at records and finding a new record and stuff like that. But I'm gonna change it up because we talked about it already. Something that I just assumed you guys were gonna have and no one had it. Hanging out either at the arcade or at a local candy store playing video games. I mean, I used to live at these places. Buddies on Flatbush Avenue. Buddies had the candy store and the little playground on the other side, the little amusement park on the other side. What was it? Buddies amusement park or Buddies and something else, right?
No, it was Buddies, I think. I only know it as Buddies.
It was on Knapp Street.
Yeah, but it was right off
Originally.
right off of
And
Flatbush.
then
You
it
can
moved,
see it.
right, but it went from Knapp Street and that turned out into a Burger King, I believe, and then they moved it up to Flatbush.
Oh, I don't remember
We
it on
grew up
Knapp
with
Street.
it as
I
little
only
kids.
remember
There
it on
was something
Flatbush.
there was something on Knapp Street, Tom. You're right. But Buddies, I think, was
It was
always
the
there
same
for-
place. They moved it from there to where he's talking about.
But
Next
again,
to Burger King.
Not right next to Burger King. Not even Buddies. I'm talking about any
Yeah.
every little candy store always had at least 2 machines in the back of the store. And I would just live there. I would live in the candy store the whole day, playing games, grabbing a quarter drink, grabbing some gum or whatever it is, and you and your friends would just sit there for 5, 6, 7 hours and play video games. It was insane. And you
What
used
was
to
the-
get so good, you'd play one quarter. There was no time limits like it is today. You could play on a quarter. You could play for half an hour.
Especially Pac-Man, if you were good
Oh,
at it.
forget it.
Let
Tom,
me ask
what
you a
was that-
question.
that luncheonette?
Back then, could you put? Because I used to love the game Eagle, and that was in a luncheonette.
Yeah.
But could
Eagle
you
was
put an
great
extra
game.
quarter to
Great.
extend the game? I don't believe so, right? Back then,
I don't think not Pac-Man.
I don't remember games
No, I
back
don't
then
remember you
having the
ever-
extra quarter.
when
No,
we were
You
little
remember-
kids, put an extra quarter in to extend the game. I don't think that came until later.
I don't think so either. Right.
And people would put their quarters up
Oh,
on the game.
all the quarters would be lined up all
Oh,
over the
that-
machine.
there's one.
And one time you get mad, all the quarters would fall off the machine.
Tom, what was
Yeah,
that
I
lunchinette's
remember
name?
it
What
was a
was
line.
who's anyway?
What was
What?
the
Right, it was
lunchinette's
a
name?
line right on the screen. That's so cool. And all the quarters look the same.
Right. How do you know whose
Yeah.
quarters were whose?
How would you know?
I'm next. Those are my quarters.
That one.
Yeah, right.
That was Ernie's chance to make some money. He'd knock the quarters off. Oh, there's only 3 now. What was the luncheonette's name, Tom? I remember that luncheonette. It was
the
pretty big.
luncheonette.
It was pretty big. I liked
Damn.
We used to torture them in the 6th grade before we went over to Maple Junior High School.
Yeah.
We go in there, knock on the door, you answer it, and we had like 15 kids with rubber bands. We'd shoot them in the face and we'd run. And then he'd go down to the principal, and then we all get called in the principal's office, and he couldn't identify us. But yeah, but the Eagle was great. Galaxian, I think was good in that.
About the
But I
same
remember the
thing.
Eagle.
I
I
like.
don't know Eagle.
Yeah,
Eagle's when you go
like-
against the mothership, you join the ships together, and finally at the end, kind of like Galactica, they come down at you, but at the end, the mothership, you get to blow apart the bottom of it to get to the whatever. Look it up. It's hard to describe. Describe a
like-
Navy video game.
I like
Oh,
pinball machines. I always had fun playing pinball machines. That luncheonette had a lot of stuff in it, not just food, you know.
That's some good shit. Crazy Climber was great. There was a chick, Joe, you might know this, and you might across from PS222 next to Waxard or Bowax. There was
Bowax.
yeah, it moved down to where the funeral home was now, on Marine Park Funeral Home. But next to it from PS222, there was a chicken and like a chicken and rib place. And they
Chicken
had Crazy
galore,
Climber.
chicken galore or something, right? One of those places.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was-
yeah.
they had
Chicken
Crazy
delight, chicken
Climber in
galore.
there.
Yeah,
And I fell in love with Crazy Climber, but then Eddie Romeo, because he had in television, got Beauty and the Beast, which was the same thing, climbing up the
Right.
building.
yeah. Right.
But you used to go like this, do joysticks and go over. Yeah, it was the coolest game in the world. I used to love it.
This was good, boys. Again, my favorite thing about this show is reminiscing about stuff like this. So many little things. The block parties, I totally forgot about. The obviously the escaped mental patients. I didn't think of
They're nice, the entertaining ones.
the Christmas help. You know, all this stuff you don't think of when you're coming up with your own list. I was having a hard time coming up with a lot of picks.
I
But
did too, yeah.
when you guys started saying yours, everything just started flooding back.
We have all those, you know, again, it's just like you said, a different time, like going to school, like you walk now, you know, even with our own kids, we don't even think about doing it, you know. You're like, what? Wait, where are you going?
Right.
I think a lot of it has to do with information overload. About we know where every pervert lives in this in the neighborhood now. You can easily access that. You can look up the crazy people who sing. You can look up this one. You can look up that one. If you want to catch a good show, this guy gets out on this date.
Look up
you
the
know,
crazy people.
on
You
there.
guys were following the crazy people around. What are you talking about? You knew where they lived.
I kid Ernie, Billy. Do I kid you not? Did he not have a crowd of 10
Oh
people?
yeah, because he sang that when he would sing when the Saints came marching in. He was pretty good at it, and then he would do
He
the
was
circle.
really good. He went into like this deep voice. Oh, in the streets.
Yeah, he
Oh,
would go.
it was
That's right.
hysterical.
Funny you brought that up because I forgot about him, and I thought about when you said that. I was thinking about some of the people that walked around, like the guy that remember just laughing. He would look at a fire hydrant, go, and he would walk away. I mean, that's
I thought it was I thought it was Schaefer.
What I just remember because he used to shake.
Because he always had a Schaefer beer can in his hand. He was hammering.
It's funny that you talk about, you know, the crazies. Sebastian Maniscalco does that. He goes, when you were crazy, they put you in the basement, right? You know, and he does the, He goes, now with the internet, you like to dress like a baby? He goes, there's 1,000 people at the Hilton that like to dress like a baby this weekend.
Right.
He goes, hey, you used to just be in the basement by yourself in your diaper, dressing like a baby. Now,
Now
you
you
find
can find the people that are crazy as you. Yeah.
Yeah, now they're filling up Hilton convention halls.
Yeah, with people dressing like
5,000
babies.
people who like to dress up like a baby.
You love Christmas help. You can find the people
Yeah,
like you on the internet that also like Christmas.
I don't know how that fit in, but I like it. Ernie,
There's probably some posting board. Oh my God.
Best places to sign up at Christmas time after the help comes in.
Hot chicks. Christmas.
Be
All right,
18 years old.
Ernie, you should have just ended that whole thing with, and I know they don't do that anymore because they won't allow that.
Also, come on, to be 17, 18.
Oh, of course.
Him, Corrales, and Carmine used to stand up. So.
I could just picture them.
The Beastie Boys.
Like bouncers.
Yeah.
Like bouncers. All right, you're in.
Hey, ladies.
Hey, ladies.
No, you can't come in.
I'm 3 times salesman of the month.
Can I throw you a pantyhose in your thigh?
On a keyboard.
Do you know how to sell pantyhose like I can?
Well, come on. Corrales worked in electronics. Carmine worked in men's. I worked in pantyhose.
Oh.
Where do you think they were going to come see first?
Good.
Sounds like an odd
good
group
point,
that would
Ernie.
rob a bank.
You're right.
You know what?
Krause is going in the pantyhose section. He'd
We
be
always
arrested.
made fun of Ernie for
No
working
doubt about it.
pantyhose. He had the right idea.
Yeah, Ernie sold a lot of pantyhose to guys that like to rob banks.
You got to cut.
Mikey D, you want another pair of pantyhose this week? What are you doing?
Yeah, you got something that fit my head?
All right, you maniacs. This was a good one. We're running a little long here tonight, but this was fun. Great time reminiscing of all this stuff in the neighborhood. And I don't think it's just our neighborhood. I think anyone who listens to this show is going to be able to relate to 95% of this stuff. They might not have, Dick's Deli, but I'm sure they had a local deli. They might not have had, the Shaker Maniac, but I'm sure they had their own Maniac. So send us your top 5 things you miss in your neighborhood. Send us at Joey Cassata top 5 with Joey Cassata at gmail.com. That's top 5 with Joey Cassata at gmail.com. We're going to announce our new contest winner next week, and we'll have that winner come on in the following weeks. Any last words, boys?
That's it.
Send some love out to Uncle Steve. Love you, buddy.
Uncle Steve, our number 1 fan. We had him on a couple weeks ago. He did submit this week's contest, but he was a little late.
No.
All right, boys. This was a good one. We'll see you next time.